I really regret it so much. Ye Junlin's eyes turned red, his face pained as he pounded his chest and stamped his feet, looking extremely self-reproachful and remorseful. Bai Xiaoxi sniffled, took Ye Junlin's hand, her nose tingling, and called out in a choked voice, Shizun. Shu Yunyan and the others looked extremely surprised, never having seen their junior brother like this. Ye Shidi, you, Hong Tianye, revealed a contemptuous expression and shouted, Acting, keep acting. If I hadn't lived with you for a while and seen through your true colors, I would have almost been fooled. Ye Junlin's face showed a pleading expression, his tone cautious and begging. Little Hong, my beloved disciple, Shifu really knows his mistakes. Can you forgive me? After all, we have a master-disciple relationship. Please give me a chance to start over, okay? Hong Tianye took a cold breath, goosebumps all over his body, thinking, how can someone be so shameless? Truly eye-opening, Hong Tianye said disgustedly. Don't dream. You make this seat feel nauseous. Ye Junlin felt as if a burden had been lifted. His face immediately became calm, completely different from his previous expression, and he said, Didn't expect anyone to fall for that. The system's voice rang in Ye Junlin's head. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the temporary mission, receiving the Undying Overlord Body Art. Undying Overlord's Body Art, a supreme cultivation technique combining strength and body, when cultivated to its peak, can create an undying body, shaking the ages, Ye Junlin thought secretly. The reward isn't bad. My acting wasn't in vain. Just now I activated a temporary mission from the system. Now that the mission is complete, let's have some fun together. He. Ye Junlin lay sprawled on the chair, turned to ask little Hong, do you know the saying that one day as a teacher, a lifetime as a father? No matter what, I'm still your father. Oh no, you're Shifu. The main character thought to himself, haha, I'll tease you for a while. If you dare to resist, then I'll just give you a lesson. Bringing the milk tea to his mouth to continue drinking, Ye Junlin turned to call Xiaoxi. Xiaoxi replied, Shizun, I'm here, Ye Junlin continued. Come here and massage my shoulders. Bai Xiaoxi ran over, obediently massaged Ye Junlin's shoulders, and replied, yes. Seeing the main character's indifferent appearance, Zhao Deju said worriedly, Everyone, could it be that Ye Shidi has been under too much pressure, and now faced with such a blow he couldn't bear it? Su Qiangshu turned to scold, Pressure my ass, talking nonsense. And little Hong thought puzzledly, what is he doing? Ye Junlin squinted his eyes in comfort, looked up at little Hong, and said leisurely, Little Hong, you've been in secluded cultivation in the time chamber for 200 years, and now you come out and think you're amazing? Hearing this, Hong Tianye said sternly, Stop talking nonsense. Hand over everything you obtained, and this seat will help you once. Otherwise, just sit here and wait to die. You must know that the cultivation world is inherently cruel, and killing to seize treasures is common. This Hong Tianye acknowledges himself as a demonic cultivator, and he's already being benevolent enough in this matter. As long as he gets what he wants, he'll fight off the enemies, then torment Ye Junlin to get back all the humiliations he suffered, and then sever ties. Zhao Deju turned to whisper to Shu Yunyan and said softly, Sect leader, listening to what he said, it seems he still has a little conscience. After all, the war is coming. Everyone knows Hong Tianye's strength. If we can get his help, perhaps the Xuantian sect can really overcome this crisis. Shu Yunyan coughed a few times, his heart wavering. This matter still depends on Ye Shidi's wishes, from the cultivation techniques, elixirs, and even the time chamber that can change the flow of time that Ye Junlin once possessed. Everyone had long determined that he possessed a great opportunity. However, out of fellow sect brotherhood, they had never asked in detail. Now, Hong Tianye directly demands it in front of everyone, and even offers a condition, making everyone curious about what Ye Junlin will choose. Ye Junlin smiled, understanding Hong Tianye's intentions, but this was fundamentally impossible, because he was linked to the system. More importantly, Ye Junlin didn't take the current danger seriously at all. Ye Junlin smiled meaningfully and asked, Are you sure you're stronger than me now? Hong Tianye replied smugly, Of course, although you always suppress this seat, wasting my precious cultivation time. But this seat has been in secluded cultivation in the time chamber for 200 years. Whether it's realm or strength, this seat has far surpassed you. Then, he said sternly, as if teaching, rebuking, Ye Junlin, you fell into this situation because of your own indulgence. We cultivators must constantly strive for the great Deo. How can we be like you, lazy and idle, all day long? Therefore, hand over all your opportunities, so that this seat can make them shine brightly. This seat is the one who deserves to inherit all those things. At this moment, Ye Junlin looked at the former demonic sect leader with the eyes one would use to look at an idiot, thinking, I have a system. Why bother cultivating so hard? Isn't it more comfortable to just chill and do nothing? Bai Xiaoxi was trembling with fear, feeling like the man before her had become a stranger, calling out, Senior brother Hong, so scary. Shu Yunyan and the others were worried, cold sweat pouring down their foreheads, exclaiming, As expected, Hong Tianye wants to snatch junior brother's opportunity. Senior brother Ye, don't try to resist. Suddenly, there was a loud explosion outside. Rumble. Just then, a terrifying energy cannonball pierced through the sky, carrying a breath of destruction, heading straight for Misty Peak. Hong Tianye shouted, waving his hand and sending out a palm strike, yelling, Pathetic trick, go! The terrifying energy cannonball was immediately deflected by a powerful force, changing direction and heading straight into the approaching enemy crowd. It shot straight into a warship in the air. A brilliant light erupted, and screams of pain echoed, Who is it? Get out here and face your death. Angry shouts echoed one after another, with at least dozens of divine senses probing. Hong Tianye soared into the sky like a star, hands clasped behind her back, with unfathomable aura, thinking, showing up to bother me at just the right time? Well, Ye Junlin is no match for me right now. Might as well deal with these gnats first, then come back and take all of Ye Junlin's resources. Sounds good. Looking down with arrogant eyes, Hong coldly said, I did it. What are you gonna do about it? An old voice echoed like a great bell. For a mere woman to dare be so arrogant, let this old man teach you a lesson. An old man in the attire of an intersect elder, a cruel smile on his face, rushed forward with ghostly speed, his sharp hand grabbing towards Hong Tianye. Hearing herself called a mere woman, veins popped on Hong Tianye's forehead, and she sneered, "How ignorant, you insignificant ant!" A miserable scream echoed. Ah! The dry, skinny face of the old man revealed horror, and his body was quickly engulfed by a terrifying black flame burning to ashes in midair. A late-stage integration realm powerhouse was wiped out just like that, unable to resist. The cultivators of the feather transformation sect turned pale, looking at the proud red figure with eyes filled with extreme fear, exclaiming, "What the actual fluck is that?" Hong Tianye's hair fluttered, and her cold eyes looked at the crowd of cultivators, her voice brooking no argument. "I'm giving you half an incense stick of time. Get out of desolate continent or die." The icy voice resonated in everyone's minds like 10,000 years of frost. Some elders revealed looks of fear, but immediately those looks turned into murderous intent. Two other angry-faced elders of the feather transformation sect shouted, "You dare act alone." Another one pointed from behind, yelling, "Even if we assume that the elder was unfortunately caught by your killing move, do you think you can withstand hundreds and thousands of elders at the integration realm alone?" Whoosh whoosh whoosh. More than 60 integration realm elders attacked at the same time, some using spiritual weapons, some using talismans, and others using their signature divine abilities. Hong Tianye's eyes were as cold as ice, her hands forming a seal, and countless eerie green flames erupted from all directions, her mouth coldly saying, "Since that's the case, then I'll go on a killing spree." In an instant, sounds like devils wailing echoed, sending chills down people's spines. Then, a series of huge skulls appeared, each one the size of a millstone, emitting a sharp, chilling scream, rushing towards the integration realm elders. The scene was as grand as an army of yin soldiers invading. "Ah, my hand, get out of the way! Don't let them bite you, they're poisonous! Stop them now!" The integration realm elders were being crushed in defeat one after another. In just one exchange, more than a third of them had died. But Hong Tianye was not satisfied, continuing to control the green fire skulls like a swarm of locusts, madly sweeping across the battlefield. Wherever they went, firelight filled the sky. Many large battleships burst into flames, and countless disciples were burned alive. Shouts and cries for help mixed together, creating a terrifying space. Suddenly, a gentle chanting of scriptures came from the distant horizon. A dazzling Buddha light shone down, making people feel like they wanted to believe in Buddhism. On ancient airships, countless monks clasped their hands together and chanted Buddha's name, Amitabha. A monk with a powerful aura, wearing a cassock, solemnly said, "Esteemed benefactors, the profound void temple has come to provide reinforcements." Hong Tianye said disdainfully, "HMPH, just another bunch coming to offer up their lives." The monks immediately flew into the air, forming hand seals, unleashing Buddha's divine abilities, shouting, "Demonic woman, don't be too arrogant." Hong Tianye's face was gloomy, her hands forming a spell seal, shouting, "Damn baldy donkeys, whoosh!" The remaining skulls immediately gathered together like a river flowing into the sea, quickly condensing into a giant skull. Woo! That skull was so large that it covered the sky, emitting a creepy laugh, making those facing it feel so small, an incredible pressure spreading out. Hong Tianye smiled coldly, waving her hand and saying, "Go play with them." Boom. The giant skull rushed forward like a mobile fortress, its whole body engulfed in green flames, the temperature unbearably high. Shrieks of terror rang out non-stop. "Amitabha, your ancestor, it's coming." Ironically, the profound Void Temple's army suffered heavy losses as soon as they appeared. Tens of thousands of monks were swallowed by the skull, a visually shocking scene. The abbot of the protection hall, Master Huidzihi, was so angry that his eyes turned red, shouting, "Demonic woman, the Buddha will not forgive you." His integration realm Great Perfection cultivation exploded, unleashing a brilliant Arhat palm, attacking this lawless and unbridled flame. Hong Tianye sneered, waving her hand to create a giant fire hand, saying, "Even if Buddha comes, I'll kill him for you to see." Boom! The powerful hand blocked the Arhat palm, and then turned into many ferocious fire dragons, madly rushing towards Master Huijihi. Master Huijihi roared, resisting with all his might, shouting, "Abomination, you dare!" Hong waved her hand, and a wave of fire curled up in front of her, blocking Master Huijihi's attack. His eyes widened in horror as he saw the fiery hand reaching for him. In less than 2 breaths, his body was burned to ashes, completely vanishing. The monks of Xuankong Temple cried out in anguish. "Abbot!" Little Hong snickered. "Didn't you know your limits when standing before me?" Shu Yuanyan wiped his cold sweat and said, "Ye Shidi, your disciple's talent is indeed terrifying. I fear our small Xuantian sect can't contain this great Buddha." The Kangjian Peak Lord remembered accidentally offending Hong Tianye and couldn't help but tremble. "Yeah, if not, just give him whatever he wants. Don't mess with him. Survival first." Bai Xiaoxi waved his little fist, his rat-like face full of excited encouragement. "Hong Shixiong is awesome. Hong Shixiong, keep it up." Ye Junlin rubbed his chin, a smirk on his face, thinking, no wonder he's so arrogant, killing a late-stage integration cultivator like mowing grass. He sensed the aura erupting from Hong Tianye. Not quite integration, not quite great ascension, like he's stuck somewhere in between. Ye Junlin's eyes flashed, staring intently at the powerful figure in the distance, as a virtual information panel appeared before his eyes, activating his clairvoyance. The half-step Great Ascension text was displayed under the Cultivation Level tab. Ye Junlin suddenly understood, bitterly smiling as he thought, half-step Great Ascension, no wonder with his already powerful foundation, plus the advantage in cultivation level, Hong Tianye can easily sweep through the cultivator army. Ye Junlin mused, "Heh, that's good too. If he turned around to deal with me, Wouldn't I seize the opportunity to break through? The grass has grown nicely. Such a waste to not cut it. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Just then, from deep within the sky, terrifying, majestic auras erupted, descending upon the battlefield. A rather large spatial rift seemed to appear in the sky, thunder rumbling inside. Whoosh! 18 powerful figures appeared, standing tall in the air, their entire bodies radiating dazzling light. Their breathing caused the spirit energy from tens of thousands of miles to converge, creating an extremely shocking scene. From afar, the 18 figures looked like 18 golden suns hanging in the sky, their blinding light shining across the world. The cultivators of the Yuhua sect looked up at the sky, their eyes as if they had found their savior. One person excitedly shouting, "Look, it's the core elders coming to help us." The core elders were all pillars of the Yuhua sect, their status like mountains, worshipped by countless disciples. This time, to suppress the Xuantian sect and show off the power of the #1 immortal sect of the eastern region, 18 core elders personally descended. The integration elders of the Yuhua sect, who were usually authoritative, now respectfully bowed their heads, their eyes full of reverence, welcoming the esteemed ones. On Misty Peak, Zhu Yuninian and the others turned pale, incredulously exclaiming, "Ray! Reverends! You have to know, Great Ascension cultivators are called reverends, implying the supreme. A Great Ascension cultivator can live up to 50,000 years. In other sects, they are true old monsters. Integration compared to Great Ascension is like a firefly to the moon. Unexpectedly, the Yuhua sect sent 18 Great Ascensions. How terrifying is this foundation? No wonder they are the strongest immortal sect of the eastern region." While everyone was pale with fear, Ye Junlin's eyes lit up. He thought, as expected, the real deal. Compared to half-step Great Ascension, true Great Ascension is much more attractive. But suddenly, the reverends with Great Ascension cultivation from the Yuhua sect tore through space to support the trash there. A short, stocky old man with brown hair from the Yuhua sect slightly closed his eyes and angrily roared, "Trash, you are disgracing the Yuhua sect." His roar made the cultivators below dizzy. An old woman wearing a golden robe, holding a snake-headed staff, glared at Hong Tianye, coldly saying, "For the great army of the #1 immortal sect of the eastern region to be beaten to pieces by a girl, if we didn't personally supervise, wouldn't the world laugh at us?" But when she saw little Hong's flawless beauty, jealousy rose in her heart as she cursed inwardly. "Damn, even more beautiful than I was when I was young." Hong Tianye coldly retorted, her eyes sharp. Where did these plastic pigs come from, daring to be rude to this one? Her words were like a slap in their faces. 3 old men with white hair angrily glared and shouted, "What did you say?" A tall, middle-aged man exuded a powerful aura, indifferently saying, "Venerable Jin Shi, no need to argue with a dying person." The 3 of them were the most respected core elders, and their strength was also the strongest among the 18. One core elder coldly said, "HMPH, Ye Junlin is indeed arrogant, only sending a disciple to deal with us. Isn't he looking down on the Yuhua sect?" Another one faintly smiled and replied, "Good. Then let's kill his disciple first, to see if he will painfully crawl out of his lair." The little Hong's voice was cold, her eyes like 10,000-year-old ice. Scram. "This one has nothing to do with him, Venerable Jin." She evilly sneered, "Ha ha, what a touching teacher-disciple relationship. After I catch her, I will destroy her face and cut off her tongue." Another elder eagerly stepped forward, wanting to take the opportunity to show off. He used his massive magical power, formed a hand seal, and shouted, "Let me!" Another one holding a sword rushed down, shouting, "Ha ha, today I'll kill you to consecrate this sword of mine." This was the power of an early-stage Great Ascension expert wanting to crush Hong Tianye instantly. Little Hong only grinned coldly, saying, "Offering blood to consecrate a sword, I'll let you taste the real feeling of purgatory." Then Little Hong raised her arm forward and gently formed a golden hand seal in front of her. While forming the seal, Little Hong thought, "Ye Junlin, let me deal with these plastic pigs. Then, I'll see if you have anything else you can hide from me." "Ha ha, whoosh!" Hong Tianye coldly laughed and gently waved her sleeve. A series of purplish-black flames flew down, carrying terrifying power that shattered the giant hand in midair. Whoosh whoosh, the azure light was utterly defeated. The 3 elders were forced back, one of them shouting in horror, "No, he's only a half-step Great Ascension. My azure Luthian palm has merged with an ancient devil's soul. How could he easily break it like that?" The elder who attacked was stunned, his eyes terrified as he looked at Hong Tianye and exclaimed, "What? How could he break my move so easily? Could it be that she's not an integration cultivator?" The elders were sent flying backwards, the sword in one's hand shattered, and cries of horror rang out everywhere. "What? That devilish woman actually blocked the Venerable's attack?" The tall man said in a deep voice, "Using half-step Great Ascension to resist Great Ascension? Unexpectedly, a remote place like Desolate Continent has such a rare genius." 3 families of dwarfs squinted his eyes and said, "Can you feel it? This person is half-step Great Ascension, damn it. Absolutely can't let her survive, all of you, kill her for me." Hong Tianye stood tall between heaven and earth, her bright red robes fluttering, her hands waving. Dozens of fire dragons roared out, carrying destructive power, and shouted, "See what you can do to this one, rumble, rumble, rumble." The battle between the 2 sides caused the sun and moon to dim, mountains shook. The core elders of the Yuhua sect unleashed a series of top-level, super VIP, awesome divine techniques, their faces filled with killing intent, determined to eliminate the opponent in front of them. Great Compassion Palm, shattering everything with one finger, plucking Star's hand, subduing dragon, and slaying fierce technique. Soul Extinguishing Seal. Among those who took action were 9 early-stage Great Ascension cultivators and 6 mid-stage Great Ascension cultivators. Boom, boom, boom. Dozens of fire dragons soared through the sky, their roars echoing. The overwhelming power summoned by little Hong unleashed. Hong swept her gaze coldly, seeing the crowd gradually closing in, frantically mobilizing the power in their bodies. Suddenly the red flames around her transformed into jet black flames like ink. Hong shouted. Nirvana, demonic flames. The black flames emitted eerie black smoke, and the strange and dangerous aura made everyone who looked at them feel uneasy. The Nirvana demonic flames can devour everything. Despite feeling apprehensive in the face of the eerie flames, the elders suppressed their discomfort and simultaneously unleashed a wave of attacks. Kill! Hong Tianye spread his arms wide, his long black hair flying wildly. The Nirvana demonic flames surrounding him suddenly surged, like a black hole devouring all the incoming spells. Buzz, buzz, buzz. An extremely chaotic energy wave shook the space, terrifying people. All 10 elders paled, unable to believe it. A tall elder said gravely, "What? Resisting 15 honored ones with the strength of one person? Is this the power that a half-step great ascension can achieve?" The short, stout old man frowned. Such talent, this old man has never witnessed in his life. The golden serpent honored one angrily roared, his hand holding a staff, drawing a complex formation. "Are you all blind? This is clearly a demonic cultivation technique." The tall, bare-chested elder also spoke. "We must eliminate this demonic woman immediately, or the consequences will be endless." Immediately afterward, a beam of light pierced through the air, shooting straight into the black flames. The remaining 2 honored ones couldn't restrain themselves any longer, and immediately attacked. Move. 3 great ascension powerhouses attacked simultaneously, and the pressure on Hong Tianye increased exponentially. Hong Tianye gritted his teeth, large beads of sweat rolling down his forehead. Damn it! Although the Nirvana demonic flames have the ability to devour everything, the consumption of power is too great, causing little Hong's body to quickly run dry. If my power runs out, I won't be able to continue using magic, and my combat power will plummet. At that time, I will definitely be defeated. Hong Tianye cursed inwardly. Damn it, it's all because of Ye Junlin. If he had given the secret treasure to me sooner, how would things have come to this? Who knew that the Feather Transformation sect would go so overboard, sending 18 great ascensions just to deal with a small sect in this remote barren continent, truly using a sledgehammer to crack a nut? A thunderous roar echoed across the sky. "Break for me!" The tall man's body emitted a dazzling light, the light converging into his fist. Then he unleashed an earth-shattering punch, shouting, "Overlord Heaven Fist!" Boom! The punch pierced through the air, exploding into a huge ball of light, and a red figure was sent flying down from above, falling straight towards the misty peak. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Mushroom-shaped dust billowed up, and the entire mountain shook violently. Hong Tianye struggled to get up, his whole body covered in dust, blood dripping from the corner of his mouth, his face full of exhaustion, coughing a few times. "Cough, cough, cough!" Bai Shaoxi shouted anxiously. "Senior Brother Hong!" Ye Junlin, while taking a bite of grilled chicken wings, sighed. "My good disciple, didn't you say you could drive them all away? Why are you getting beaten so badly now?" Then, the young man shrugged, his face full of disappointment. "As your master, I am really too disappointed in you." Hearing these mocking words, Hong Tianye was so angry that he almost exploded. His face burned as if he had been slapped, and he gritted his teeth. "You dare mock me? At least I can retreat unscathed. You just sit there and wait to die." With that, little Hong decided to use a secret technique to escape, thinking in his heart, "Anyway, the main target of the Feather Transformation sect is Ye Junlin. Those ants have nothing to do with him. Let them stay and die with this shameless bastard." Suddenly, an ancient bronze compass shone brightly, flying straight into the high sky. Immediately releasing an unimaginable mysterious energy, a voice sounded, "With this old man here, don't even dream of leaving this place." In an instant, the entire area was sealed off, and a thin layer of light faintly appeared. The short old man sneered. "Obediently await death. Don't waste your efforts." Looking up at the sky, where 18 great ascension experts stood tall, the hearts of the Xuan Tian sect cultivators were filled with despair. Shu Yubananian raised his face to the sky and sighed, his tone full of sorrow. "How can we fight this? Alas, a true pipe dream. I once thought that the Xuan Tian sect would rise from here, stepping onto the path of glory. But in the end, we still can't escape the fate of destruction." Some people's eyes were red, as they angrily roared, "Sect leader, shall we fight them to the death?" Hong Tianye's expression was very ugly. "Damn it, do I have to be buried here with these ants? I am not reconciled." His eyes swept over the crowd, stopping on Ye Junlin, who was leisurely eating grilled chicken wings, his heart filled with resentment. Eat, eat, eat. Still eating at a time like this, clearly possessing enormous cultivation resources, yet he indulges in mundane pleasures all day long. If it were me, I would have been invincible long ago. To die with someone like this is a disgrace to me. Ye Junlin was not worried at all, but turned to call Xiaoxi. Xiaoxi hurriedly ran over and replied, "Master, here I am, cheap, cheap." Ye Junlin continued, "Next time, as your master, I want to try the honey flavor." Xiaoxi was stunned, looked up at the 18 figures above, and showed a terrified expression. "Ah, master, will there be a next time for us?" Whoosh. Before countless surprised eyes, the silver-haired man took a step, appearing in the high sky, facing the 18 great. Right on schedule, the little system chimed in again. Ding! Host detected being attacked by a Grand Ascension stage enemy, activating the passive skill, "The stronger the enemy, the stronger I become," receiving Grand Ascension stage cultivation. In the blink of an eye, from the Great Integration stage, Ye Junlin's cultivation directly broke through to the Grand Ascension stage. Boom! A powerful aura surged straight into the heavens, shattering the clouds. That azure swordlight was easily dispersed with a wave of Ye Junlin's hand. At this moment, his long silver hair fluttered, and his eyes gleamed. Ye Junlin mused, So satisfying. So damn satisfying. This is what it feels like to instantly gain immense power. With this cheat system, who needs to cultivate painstakingly? In an instant, the sudden change stunned everyone. Shu Yunyan and the Peak Lords were dumbfounded, then exclaimed, Junior Brother Ye is a Grand Ascension stage powerhouse? Is this a joke? So the Xuan Tian sect has had a venerable master all along. Hong Tianye felt like his head was about to explode. He staggered back a few steps, his eyes filled with shock. No way. Absolutely no way. This felt like studying hard, full of confidence, only to find out that the top student was someone who slept all day, didn't do homework, and just played around. Hong Tianye's eyes turned bloodshot, his fists clenched until they cracked, and he trembled with rage, feeling like his brain was being trampled on. He cursed inwardly, damn it, how much are you still hiding? Who plays like this? Last time we met, you were nascent soul stage, now you're Grand Ascension stage. Each time, you hide a world of difference. The core elders roared furiously. Despicable. Grand Ascension. So you were already Grand Ascension, Ye Junlin smiled faintly. Sorry to disappoint you, I'm not at the Great Integration stage. Mu Jia of the Yuhua sect shouted. Even if the information is wrong, his cultivation is only at the Grand Ascension stage. How can an ant stand against a forest? The 7 Yuhua sect elders lined up in the air, summoning a formation with 15 swords surrounding it. One of them shouted, Today we'll let you taste the sword techniques of our Yuhua sect. Ye Junlin grinned coldly. Good. Very good, haha. The 16 flying swords, simultaneously launched by the Yuhua sect elders, focused their attack on Ye Junlin. They controlled the 16 purple-gold swords, trailing dazzling light, as they shot toward Ye Junlin. Clang, clang, clang! Sparks flew from Ye Junlin's body. Although it was flesh and blood, it emitted the sound of metal colliding. An old geezer cried out in alarm. How is this possible? These 16 purple-gold swords are all rank 6 spiritual artifacts. If they attack simultaneously, the force unleashed is terrifying. But unexpectedly, they couldn't break through his body at all. Shu Yuninian shouted in terrified shock. Why is Junior Brother Ye just standing there taking it? 16 flying swords launched at once. Even a Grand Ascension stage cultivator would have trouble withstanding that. Little Hong stood with her arms crossed, frowning as she pondered. What the hell is he doing? Ye Junlin said calmly, his tone as if evaluating a dish. Not bad. A little painful. He thought to himself. Ever since cultivating the undying overlord body art, my body has undergone countless refinements. I was just testing its strength. An elder pointed and shouted, No, impossible. Even a Grand Ascension stage great cultivator would have difficulty withstanding 16 flying swords at once. How can someone at the Grand Ascension stage like you withstand it so easily with just your body? Little Hong gnashed her teeth and thought, As expected, this guy is still hiding too many secrets. I need to be careful. Whoosh! Suddenly, Ye Junlin appeared unexpectedly in front of the white-haired elder, who stammered in shock. You're definitely not at the Grand Ascension stage. What realm is your cultivation at? Boom! A golden fist aura, as bright as the sun, flashed. The white-browed elder's hair stood on end, sensing that this terrifying power was enough to tear his body into pieces. Ye Junlin shouted, Can you talk after you're dead? Ye Junlin continued to rush towards another elder, his right hand ablaze with crimson flames, his eyes gleaming brightly, attacking the person in front of him. Wham! Ye Junlin attacked, turning rice into bran. The other guy was hit by Ye Junlin's palm, causing him to spew out a whole basin of essence blood. Ye Junlin was like a savage beast, baring his teeth in a grin, attacking madly. Looking at Ye Junlin's style at this moment sent shivers down everyone's spines. A heaven-shattering scene of slaughter unfolded in the sky. Ye Junlin was like a demonic lord, teleporting around, constantly knocking the elders down from the sky like flies. The remaining elders cried out in shock. This guy's realm is too weird. Great elder, please help us. Ye Junlin still showed no signs of stopping, flames still erupting around him, his fists flying forward. Boom! A deafening explosion. But the scene of flesh and blood flying did not appear. Ye Junlin frowned. In front of the white-browed elder, a tall figure had appeared. The elder breathed a sigh of relief, cupping his hands and saying, Thank you, Venerable Hongwu, for your intervention. It was the tall man. At this moment, Venerable Hongwu had his arms crossed in front of his chest, with an ancient beast-shaped mark on his hand, radiating a primitive wild aura. It was this mark that blocked Ye Junlin's punch. Ye Junlin smiled with interest and said, Interesting, you actually blocked one of my serious punches. Outwardly, Venerable Hongwu seemed calm, but inwardly, a storm was raging. He could clearly feel a mouthful of blood rising in his throat, but could only swallow it down silently. Venerable Hongwu doubted his existence, thinking, How can a body be cultivated to this extent? Body cultivation is my path of cultivation. Even with the addition of the beast's soul mark, my defense was almost shattered by that one punch just now. This old woman will join in the fun. Venerable Jin Shi, holding a serpent-headed staff, had her golden robe fluttering even without wind. A terrifying energy gathered on the head of the staff, emitting a chilling aura. Suddenly, a giant serpent shadow appeared, with 6 jet-black eyes, a forked tongue hissing repeatedly, and large wings covering the sky. Whoosh! The giant serpent shadow, surrounded by a black mist, filled with deadly poison, lunged forward. The old woman, Venerable Jin Shi, shouted, I don't believe you can withstand the attacks of all 3 of us at once. Ye Junlin frowned slightly, looking at that old woman, Venerable Jin Shi, thinking, This damn old hag is acting even in her fake death, huh? Then, the short elder waved his hand and attacked with his palm, shouting, Attack! Are we 3 afraid of him alone? Who? Seeing his companions make a move, Venerable Hongwu raised his hand to form a hand seal, his body bursting with circles of dazzling light. Then, He swung his fist, the compressed power like a volcano erupting, carrying a destructive force that exploded outward. Overlord Heaven Fist. In an instant, the three late-stage Great Ascension powerhouses simultaneously made their moves, wanting to crush their target into dust. Facing the surging killing intent, Ye Junlin not only didn't retreat, but instead revealed a joyful smile. The system activated, displaying a notification, ding, detecting the host being attacked by late-stage Great Ascension powerhouses. The passive effect, Stronger when facing the strong, is activated, granting peak stage Great Ascension cultivation. Boom! Ye Junlin's aura exploded again, much stronger than before. The three Feng Venerables, expressions changed, their eyes filled with disbelief. Not good, his cultivation. Golden Serpent Venerable's face was unsightly as he gritted his teeth. Red Feather Venerable angrily said, "The sex information was wrong. Ye Junlin is a peak stage Great Ascension powerhouse. Damn it, we've all been tricked." Heh, Ye Junlin coldly laughed, raising his hand and striking out with a palm, the palm emitting a brilliant blue light. Boom, boom, boom! A massive halo exploded. Before the horrified gazes of countless people, three figures were blasted backward. They tried to steady themselves, but still spewed mouthfuls of fresh blood, their auras becoming weak. The three venerables wiped the blood from the corners of their mouths, gritting their teeth. At this point, we can only use the sect's secret technique. We must eliminate him at all costs. This battle must be won. This is the honor of the Yuhua sect. Hearing this, the core elders behind them immediately revealed fearful expressions. At this moment, Ye Junlin felt the power within his body suddenly increase by another level, and he couldn't help but happily think, looks like they're about to use that move. So it turned out that Red Feather Venerable wasn't able to trigger the Stronger when facing the strong effect earlier because the conditions weren't met. To activate it, the enemy had to actively attack. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Right now, the auras of Feng Venerable, Red Feather Venerable, and Golden Serpent Venerable were becoming strange, the energy exuding being much stronger than before. Silvery runes appeared on the skin of all three, spreading from their necks to their faces, eventually concentrating into an inverted triangular vertical eye on their foreheads. Dazzling silver light filled their entire bodies, their auras becoming sacred and inviolable. The army of cultivators stirred. Heavens, why have the three venerables transformed like this? Could it be they're using the Yuhua sect's legendary secret technique? The Yuhua Ascendancy Art? I know, it's said that only core elders with potential are allowed to cultivate this secret technique. This secret technique was created by the founding ancestor and is the foundation of the Yuhua sect. The user's battle prowess will increase by a whole level. This is the foundation that allows the Yuhua sect to endure for 10,000 years. Suddenly, Ye Junlin sensed something different, frowning as he looked at his opponents. Hong Tianyé's expression was serious. So profound, this secret technique is not inferior to those of the top great sects of the central region. The creator is truly a monster, Xu Yunyan exclaimed. What's going on? Can Junior Brother Ye withstand this? Junior Brother Ye, please protect yourself. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, three powerful figures stood tall across the heavens, the sacred silver light illuminating like they were about to ascend into immortals. Red Feather Venerable's eyes were filled with excitement. This is the state. After using the secret technique, I feel my body is filled with boundless power, Feng Venerable said in a low voice. Move quickly. You all know that the longer we maintain this, the greater the price we'll have to pay. There's no turning back. Golden Serpent Venerable screeched crazily. As long as we can wipe out this sect, what does it matter if this old woman loses her foundation and her cultivation regresses? The screaming pierced through the sky. Kill! They went all out, unleashing their divine abilities and techniques, their power 100 times stronger than before. With the assistance of the core elders, they formed an airtight encirclement. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions rang out incessantly. Ye Junlin used his fists and palms to fight, battling 9 Great Ascension powerhouses alone, mostly exchanging blows with the 3 strongest venerables. He felt the pressure had increased quite a bit. Feng Venerable, his entire body covered in interwoven silver runes, raised his hand and unleashed his most powerful killing move. Ye Junlin narrowed his eyes. Finally, it's getting a little interesting. Now Lin Biantai was truly starting to get serious. Boom. At this moment, an enormous pressure, like a vast ocean, emanated from behind Ye Junlin. A majestic, sky-covering figure appeared, its overwhelming aura causing fear, only to see the figure wearing a king's crown, its eyes cold and emotionless, its hands clasped behind its back, standing silently as if presiding over the river of time. The Dharma idol lightly reached out its hand, and surging power poured out, shattering all killing moves, blasting away the core elders, causing them to retreat in a sorry state. Everyone's faces turned pale, and a feeling of wanting to kneel down and submit arose in their hearts. This is, Hong Tianyé gasped, her phoenix eyes widening as she exclaimed in her heart. It's the Dharma idol that appeared in the secret realm that time. The heavenly emperor Dharma idol standing behind Ye Junlin immediately changed his aura, as if he had become a different person. Feng Venerable stammered. This is a Dharma idol divine ability. Red Feather Venerable was still in shock, trembling as he said. But I've never seen this kind of Dharma idol before. Before this enormous Dharma idol, the people of the Yuhua sect were no different from ants, only wanting to prostrate themselves. Ye Junlin said casually, his tone gentle but carrying an indescribable majesty. Watch carefully, the real show is about to begin. Golden Serpent Venerable gritted her teeth, suppressing the trembling in her heart, and shouted, Who are you trying to scare? This old woman has seen countless earth-shattering scenes. Ye Junlin smiled faintly, slowly raising his hand, his index finger pointing directly at the center of his brow. Ha ha. Boom. The entire world suddenly became dark, leaving only the brilliant light from Ye Junlin's finger, the light containing the power of the great Tao. Golden Serpent Venerable felt an indescribable fear. In her eyes, the finger seemed to be magnifying, carrying the aura of death pressing down. The scariest thing was that her body suddenly froze. The surrounding space seemed to be frozen. The spiritual energy also stopped flowing. Countless golden rays of light separated from the fingertip, like a divine sword tearing through the dome of the sky, creating distorted ripples in space, Ye Junlin shouted. Severing Heaven Finger, Golden Serpent Venerable screamed miserably, desperately unleashing defensive techniques, but could not avoid the fate of being destroyed. Those who witnessed the scene all had their hair standing on end, so frightened that they couldn't speak. Immediately afterward, Ye Junlin again raised his fist and powerfully unleashed a punch, his fist's power unmatched. Boom! The fist imprint carried a vortex like a black hole, the successive attacks crushing down. The core elders wanted to scatter and flee, but they discovered in horror that they couldn't control their bodies, like moths drawn to a flame, rushing into the vortex. Miserable cries echoed throughout the sky, but soon they were crushed into ashes, their souls also annihilated, forever disappearing from the world. Save me, save me! No, Feng Venerable and Red Feather Venerable were terrified to the extreme, glanced at each other, and then turned around and fled in different directions. The terrifying power that Ye Junlin displayed had completely shattered the fighting spirit of the two. Ye Junlin's voice, carrying a hint of mockery, echoed, "Want to escape?" Feng Venerable and Red Feather Venerable were shocked to realize that behind them, a radiant hand was reaching out, the hand as if crossing a distance of 10,000 miles, instantly gripping them tightly. Feng Venerable bled from all 7 orifices, struggling madly but to no avail, shouting, "You are a devil! The Yu Hua sect will not spare you!" Red Feather Venerable screamed in despair. "A great devil! A great devil has appeared in the barren province." Ye Junlin shook his head, clenching his fists. "Seriously, need to go this far? Squelch, squelch." The two instantly got crushed into a bloody mess. 2 booming explosions echoed in the air. Ye Junlin lightly wiped the sweat from his brow, clicking his tongue at the mana consumption of that move. No wonder it's called a supreme divine art. Then, he glanced at Hong Tianye down below and muttered, "Time to deal with this rebellious disciple." After a moment of silence, the entire sect erupted in earth-shattering cheers. "We won! We actually won!" The entire desolate province shook, and the local cultivators prostrated themselves before Ye Junlin, marveling. Ye Zhenren single-handedly annihilated a huge army of cultivators. Who else in history has ever done that? Ye Zhenren's divine might is unfathomable. We are filled with admiration. Invincible! Ye Zhenren is invincible! Cheers echoed everywhere, and amidst the enthusiastic shouts, Ye Junlin returned to Misty Peak. The Peak Lord of Zhangjian Peak immediately rushed over, his eyes full of admiration. "Grand Elder? Are you missing any leg ornaments?" The Peak Lord of Tianxiang Peak shoved him aside, then shyly looked towards Ye Junlin, gently saying, "HMPH? Ye Shidi doesn't need a crude man like you." Her eyes were full of affection, as if she wanted to transform into Ye Junlin's image. "Ye Shidi, you've worked hard this time. Let Shiji massage your shoulders." Xu Yunian bitterly smiled. "This battle has shown us your true cultivation. How long were you planning to hide it from us, Ye Shidi, Ye Zhenren?" The other Peak Lords excitedly chimed in. That's right, that's right." Seeing this, Ye Junlin lightly coughed a few times and said, "Humble. One must be humble." Seeing Ye Junlin pay attention to him, Hong Tianye broke out in a cold sweat, gritting his teeth. "Crap, I'm so screwed." Cheers echoed everywhere, and amidst the enthusiastic shouts, Ye Junlin returned to Misty Peak. The Peak Lord of Zhangjian Peak immediately rushed over, his eyes full of admiration. "Grand Elder, are you missing any leg ornaments?" "HMPH. Ye Shidi doesn't need a crude man like you." The Peak Lord of Tianxiang Peak shoved him aside, then shyly looked towards Ye Junlin, gently saying, "Ye Shidi, you've worked hard this time. Let Shiji massage your shoulders." Her eyes were full of affection, as if she wanted to transform into Ye Junlin's image. Xu Yunian bitterly smiled. "This battle has shown us your true cultivation. How long were you planning to hide it from us, Ye Shidi, Ye Zhenren?" The other Peak Lords excitedly chimed in. That's right, that's right." Seeing this, Ye Junlin lightly coughed a few times and said, "Humble. One must be humble." With that, the MC sat down on a lounge chair, picked up a grilled chicken wing, and contentedly enjoyed it. At this time, Hong Tianye stood frozen in place, embarrassed, and not knowing where to hide his face. He had thought about running away, but with the current situation, could he escape? After witnessing Ye Junlin's strength, Hong Tianye felt the distance between them widen even further. And even if he desperately resisted, he would never win. Moreover, his current state was terrible, not even worth one of the other's fingers. His thoughts were in a chaotic mess, and cold sweat poured down Hong Tianye's forehead. What should I do? What should I do? Damn it, this bastard is too cunning. He clearly has peak great vehicle stage cultivation, but he pretends to be a combination stage cultivator. I've never seen anyone so shameless in my entire life. And when he thought about the consequences he was about to face, his whole body turned cold, as if he had fallen into an ice cave. He hated himself for being so impulsive. Now his ambition had been exposed, his face torn off, and he had severely injured his fellow disciples. Don't even mention salvaging the master-disciple relationship. It was unknown whether he could even keep his life. After eating 6 grilled chicken wings, Ye Junlin picked up his milk tea and took a sip. The young man showed a satisfied expression, but his eyes suddenly noticed Hong Tianye, who was standing motionless like a log, and he raised his eyebrows and said, "Oh, you're still here?" Xu Yongyan and the others were all stunned. It was obvious that Ye Junlin hadn't paid any attention to Hong Tianye's existence from the beginning. Hong Tianye was stunned. Could this matter just be dropped like that? But the next moment, his face turned pale, and his whole body went cold. Ye Junlin said seriously, Zhao Shixiang, please chop him into minced meat now and use it to fertilize the paulownia trees in my courtyard. Thank you very much, Peak Lord Zhang Jianfeng was a little surprised, but quickly nodded. Oh, okay. Just as the sword was about to strike, a thud resounded. Hong Tianye didn't hesitate, kneeling down on the ground, and hastily cried out, Please, master, spare this disciple's life. This disciple is willing to perform meritorious service to atone for his sins. I beg master for forgiveness. Peak Lord Zhang Jianfeng stopped in his tracks, awkwardly looking towards Ye Junlin. Ye Junlin smiled, unable to hide his sarcasm. Weren't you very arrogant? Why are you cowering now? Hong Tianye felt his face burning, filled with shame, and just wanted to find a place to hide. He lowered his head and pleaded, Master, it was this disciple's arrogance this time. I beg master to give this disciple a chance to correct his mistakes. Ye Junlin said indifferently, Slap yourself in the face. I'll tell you when to stop. Hong Tianye widened his eyes and looked up at Ye Junlin, partly because he felt lucky to have escaped death, and partly because he was surprised that he would let him off. However, there was still something unsettled in Hong Tianye's heart. He was very bitter. His face. Not long after, news of the battle in Huang province spread like wildfire across the other 13 provinces. Holy crap! Ye Junlin from the Xuan Tian sect is actually a Mahayana cultivator? And he wiped out all 18 venerables sent by the Yuhua sect? What? An army of tens of thousands of cultivators was annihilated? Damn it, my brother was among them. Sigh, guess I gotta take care of his wife for him now. That white-haired maniac is gonna get struck by lightning for killing so many people. He's totally the #1 butcher of the eastern region. Everywhere in Buddha province you could see monks looking all sad and chanting scriptures to send the spirits of the dead far away. At first, the Xuankong temple was showing off like crazy, but after hearing the news, the whole temple went silent. In a pavilion somewhere in Spirit province, a surprised shout echoed. No way! A barbarian from Huang province is this strong? Could he be some immortal powerhouse reincarnated? Zhu Tianyi, who was enjoying himself, stopped in his tracks when he heard his subordinate's report. His sinister eyes showing horror, the guard miserably replied, Young master, it's true. Zhu Tianyi was actually scared, cold sweat pouring down his back, his spine stiff. Thinking back, it was lucky he didn't make a move that day, or even his father wouldn't have been able to save him. HMPH, go find me some more female cultivators. This young master needs to chill out, you know? What are you still standing there for? You deaf? Go now, or I'll drag your mom here to replace them. Hearing that, the guard panicked and quickly retreated, secretly praying that his mother wouldn't catch the eye of this devil. Meanwhile, after receiving news of the defeat, the entire Yuhua sect was in shock. From disciples to elders, no one could believe it. It's been so long since the Yuhua sect lost an external battle. This was the first time ever. Especially losing 18 core elders shook the very foundation of the sect. You gotta know that each elder had the power of life and death over those below, their status high above, seen as gods within the sect. Yet this time, none of them returned. Dong, dong. The sound of funeral bells echoed across the sky, the atmosphere within the sect becoming oppressive, with the occasional sob. In the true inheritance hall, the holy son Chen Zhao, who was recovering from his injuries, suddenly felt like he'd been struck by lightning, staggering to his feet, his eyes full of horror. Are you telling me the truth? Mo Lao, his hair already turning white, his eyes red, softly said, Holy son, this old servant wouldn't dare lie. The news has already spread throughout the eastern region. This time, we lost big time. Chen Zhao stumbled and fell, sitting down in his chair, a pathetic smile on his face. Ye Junlin, you sneaky bastard. You were already at Mahayana, but you hid it on purpose? Were you trying to mess with this holy son? He once thought that as long as he diligently cultivated to the integration stage, he would be able to face Ye Junlin. But reality quickly slapped him in the face. That guy isn't integration. He's Mahayana. Mo Lao, seeing Chen Zhao lose his spirit, quickly encouraged him. Holy son, you must not lose heart. That white-haired old devil has lived for tens of thousands of years. Or how else would his cultivation be so profound? You are still young. Your future is bright. Mahayana is the end for him. But for you, it's just a stage to overcome. After all, you possess the aptitude to become an immortal. Chen Zhao's gloomy eyes regained their light. That's right. This holy son will transcend tribulation and become an immortal in the future. How can I give up? Mahayana stage is nothing. I'll reach it sooner or later. Mo Lao nodded in agreement. Yes, that's right. Suddenly, Chen Zhao seemed to have made up his mind. Grinding his teeth, he said, Mo Lao, please report it to the higher-ups. I've decided to refine that Jiang object in order to quickly raise my cultivation and power. Mo Lao was stunned, almost thinking he misheard. What? Holy son, you're talking about? That Jiang object is called the Solar True Fire, rumored to have fallen from the sky hundreds of thousands of years ago, leaving Qing province barren and the people miserable. At that time, countless powerhouses wanted to subdue it, but all were burned to ashes by the Solar True Fire. In the end, the founding ancestor of the Yuhua sect used divine powers to seal it in the deepest forbidden area of the sect. It wasn't until Chen Zhao, who possessed the solar immortal body, appeared that the high-level elders remembered the Solar True Fire, thinking that this thing would suit him. However, due to its great power, even with a suitable physique, the elders only allowed him to refine it when he reached the Mahayana stage with his current cultivation. Refining the Solar True Fire would be extremely painful and arduous, but if successful, his power would explode. With a higher cultivation, refining would be easier, and the chances of success would also increase. However, if he failed, the backlash would certainly kill him. At this time, Chen Zhao had not yet reached the integration stage, but he was taking the initiative to refine the Solar True Fire, making Mo Lao very embarrassed. After all, Chen Xiao was the most outstanding talent and physique in the past million years of the Yuhua sect, the most promising candidate to prove the Tao and ascend to immortality. If anything happened, the loss would be irreparable, Mo Lao quickly advised. Holy son, this old servant understands your feelings, but please calm down, Mo Lao, please believe in me. Chen Xiao's eyes were firm, each word spoken. I just want to become stronger. The solar true fire was prepared for me. This is fate's decree. This holy son wants to be reborn from the ashes. Infected by his strong determination, Mo Lao was a little shaken, his eyes showing respect. Sighing, he said, All right, this old servant will report the truth. Please, holy son. Prepare yourself well. Watching Mo Lao's back as he left, Chen Xiao sat cross-legged on the futon again, his mind suddenly becoming clear, feeling like he had to break or stand, putting himself in a dead end to find a way to survive. In his mind, the red figure of his enemy flashed, causing Chen Xiao to feel humiliated. His face revealed resentment, coldly saying, Next time, this holy son will definitely take your life. To avenge the enemy who killed my father, first, I must kill his disciple. Cut to a few months later, on Piaomiao Peak, Xuantian sect. The sun shone brightly, birds chirping merrily. Ye Junlin, wearing sunglasses, comfortably lay on a lounge chair, holding a goblet made of millennium-old lapis lazuli, acting pretentious as he said, Hong, give me a glass of 82 Lafite. Hong Tianye seemed used to this scene, his face expressionless, hand placed in front of his chest, bowing respectfully, then taking out a bottle made of black winestone, gently pouring the red liquid into the glass. Yes, mister, Ye. The rich aroma of the red liquid filled the air, captivating the heart. This was grape wine brewed from 10,000-year-old blood grapes, extremely beneficial to the body of a cultivator. Ye Junlin took a sip, his face revealing a satisfied expression of appreciation. Very good. Hong Tianye maintained his calm expression, but in his heart he kept mumbling. Again, going crazy again. This guy is really sick. When will this miserable day end for me? He was really speechless at Ye Junlin's weird actions. But because he was afraid of his strength, he had to obediently cooperate. Ye Junlin didn't care about Hong Tianye's eyes that looked at him like an idiot. He just gently swirled the wine glass, closed his eyes, and hummed a melody, immersed in his own world. At this time, the system suddenly spoke. Ding! The daily check-in count has been refreshed. Do you want to check in, host? Ye Junlin thought to himself. Check in. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Your luck has exploded. You have received a supreme mount. Clang! Ye Jun dropped the glass in his hand. The glass fell to the ground, red wine splattering everywhere. Hong Tianye was startled and panicked, reflexively bowing and apologizing, thinking that he had just done something to anger this silver-haired young man. Disciple knows his mistake. But at this time, Ye Junlin's mind was completely focused on the reward he had just received. He breathed rapidly, quickly asking, Tongzi, explain it more clearly. What kind of mount is it? Ding! It's a Kun Peng. Currently only in the juvenile stage, but it has already reached the Mahayana stage. Please treat it well, host. The ancient divine beast Kun Peng has unlimited potential and is considered one of the strongest beings in the myriad realms. It can freely fly in the sky or leisurely swim in the vast ocean. Hearing this, Ye Junlin was extremely excited. How could a handsome cultivator like him go out without a splendid mount? Wouldn't it be too shabby to rely on himself to fly? Luckily, the system is still somewhat useful, because it has given him an ancient divine beast Kun Peng as a mount. This is truly a treasure for both fighting battles and showing off. Hong Tianye raised his head, his face full of suspicion, realizing that the other party seemed very happy, not angry at all. He felt annoyed in his heart. Damn it, what's there to smile about for no reason? Crazy one moment. Suddenly, a creature with the head of a mouse and the body of a human ran over happily, holding a green invitation in her hand, calling, Master! She was wearing a yellow skirt, her skin as white as snow, smooth as jade, her petite figure exuding a lively and energetic air. Only the white-haired mouse head on her neck was a bit out of place, the mouse face showing a humanized smile. Ye Junlin curiously asked, Zhaoji? What's that in your hand? Bai Xiaoxi waved the invitation in her hand. Tongzi excitedly said, This is the invitation that the sect leader gave to Xiaoxi, asking me to pass it on to Master. Ye Junlin took the invitation, opened it, and his expression turned strange. Turns out, the old ancestor of the Shu family in Lingzhou, after a long period of closed-door cultivation, successfully broke through from the Great Ascension stage to the Tribulation Transcension stage, causing a stir in the eastern region. The Shu family was overjoyed, and specially sent invitations everywhere, inviting prominent cultivators to participate in the banquet. The meaning is obvious, clearly wanting to take this opportunity to expand the Shu family's prestige. Everyone knows that a Great Ascension stage cultivator can be called a venerable, but once breaking through to the Tribulation Transcension stage, they are called a pseudo-immortal. Just hearing the word immortal is enough to understand how powerful this realm is. Because just one more step, and it's the legendary, true, immortal. These are the true beings who transcend everything, standing at the peak of the cultivation world, a realm that countless cultivators dream of reaching. Little Hong said worriedly. The old ancestor of the Shu family has reached the Tribulation Transcension stage, which can be called the true immortal realm. He invited the Xuan Tian sect, probably to intimidate us. With our current strength, we are not his match. At this time, Ye Junlin stroked his chin and said with interest, Inviting the Xuan Tian sect to participate in the banquet at this time, it seems they want to scare the monkeys by killing the chicken, using this opportunity to enhance the Xuan family's old ancestor's reputation. Are pseudo-immortals that strong? Want to bet the old man will go and freeload? The system's voice rang. Ding! A random mission has been activated. The host brings their new mount to the Shu family banquet, stunning the entire audience, and will receive a special reward. Yu Junlin smirked. Tongzi, this mission came just in time. The urge to show off has already started to stir within me. If I don't go out and show off a little, wouldn't I be letting down my new mount? Bai Xiaoxi asked. Master, are we going? Ye Junlin secretly said. We're setting off right now. System. Immediately summon the Supreme Kunpeng mount for me. Ding. Summoning for the host. Dark, dark, dark. From deep within the endless sky, a terrifying aura surged, and dazzling light like a galaxy descended. A gigantic figure gradually broke through the clouds, revealing a body tens of thousands of feet long. It was a colossal creature, resembling a deep-sea whale, yet possessing enormous wings flapping powerfully. The spiritual energy within 100 miles instantly became chaotic, and powerful gusts of wind filled the space. Rumble. The Xuantian sect shook violently, and all the spiritual beasts raised within the sect collapsed on the ground, feeling unprecedented bloodline pressure, trembling with fear, and even peeing on the spot. Countless disciples and elders looked up at the sky in horror, their bodies as cold as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. What's going on? Is a demonic beast attacking the sect? Exclamations echoed everywhere, and an atmosphere of panic spread. Swoosh, swoosh. Zhu Yunkanian and the elders from the major peaks rushed out, looking at the gigantic creature in front of them, their eyes filled with shock. Sect leader, this is a supreme great ascension stage demonic beast. How could it appear here? Could it be from the Yuhua gate? The situation is critical. I think we should immediately activate the sect protecting grand formation. Hurry. Activate the grand formation. Boom. The sect protecting grand formation hidden within the Xuantian sect was activated, and countless dazzling halos rose up, like thousands of stars suspended in the sky. The halos intertwined and wrapped around each other, forming a pure land, preparing to resist the gigantic creature that was getting closer. After Ye Junlin's improvement, the Xuantian sect's sect-protecting grand formation had undergone a major breakthrough, enough to block attacks from ordinary Great Ascension stage cultivators. But at this moment, in front of that terrifying creature, the grand formation trembled, seemingly unable to withstand its pressure. Seeing this scene, Bai Xiaoxi was so scared that she hugged her head and squatted on the ground, her mouse-like face full of horror. Ah, a monster has come. Hong Tianye gasped for breath, his eyes revealing disbelief. Isn't this? Based on his knowledge, he naturally recognized what this gigantic creature was. This was one of the strongest ancient divine beasts in legend, the Kunpeng. Ye Junlin's eyes flashed, and he nodded in satisfaction, thinking, even though this Kunpeng is only in its juvenile stage, its power is already so astonishing, I'm afraid the previous 18 core elders would be easily torn to shreds by it. If it continues to grow, how terrifying will its strength be? At this moment, Hong Tianye took 2 steps back, seemingly preparing to run away, and thought to himself, are you kidding me? Such an ancient divine beast suddenly descended from the sky to attack the sect. If I get caught in it, I'll definitely lose my life. Hong Tianye glanced at the silver-haired youth, and thought in his heart, look, this is your retribution. He absolutely didn't believe that Ye Junlin could deal with the Kunpeng. Even though they were both at the Great Ascension stage, it was the strongest ancient divine beast, and its combat power was undoubtedly amazing. Just as everyone was panicking, Ye Junlin suddenly soared into the sky, transforming into a streak of light and shooting towards the sky. A disciple exclaimed in surprise, look, Peak Lord Yi is going to make a move. Zhu Yunian and the others shouted worriedly, Junior Brother Yi, be careful! At this time, the only person capable of resisting that demonic beast was the Peak Lord of Misty Peak, who was regarded as the trump card of the Xuantian sect. But no one expected that Ye Junlin, as soon as he flew up, immediately waved his hand, directly withdrawing the grand formation, and then stood still, waiting for the Kunpeng to arrive. The Kunpeng glided across the sky, the pressure emanating from its body like the aura of a king ruling over all living beings. When it saw Ye Junlin appear, its speed suddenly increased, and it rushed over with rolling airwaves. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Seeing the distance between the Kunpeng and Ye Junlin getting closer and closer, many people couldn't help but be horrified. Hong Tianye muttered, does he want to die? But the next moment, a scene that made him widen. His eyes appeared, and he exclaimed, what? No way, little Hong mumbled. He's planning to drag everyone down to die here. In everyone's shocked eyes, the Kunpeng, which had originally looked fierce and majestic when it appeared, now looked like a docile kitten. It gently rubbed its head against Ye Junlin, acting extremely affectionate, completely contrasting with its gigantic size. Ye Junlin smiled, raised his hand and patted it gently on the head. Good boy, very good. Follow me from now on. The Kunpeng excitedly swayed its body, opened its mouth, and let out a resounding cry, looking extremely happy. Witnessing this scene, the entire Xuantian sect fell silent. Some people were dumbfounded, and others gaped. Heavens, what's going on? A disciple exclaimed in shock, his voice full of awe. I didn't see wrong. Peak Lord Yi subdued it with just a wave of his hand. The Peak Lord of Sword Burial Peak looked bewildered. Sect leader, it seems that demonic beast knows Junior Brother Ye. Ah, Senior Sister Tai, what's wrong? A scream rang out, attracting everyone's attention. The Peak Lord of Heavenly Prosperity Peak reached out and hugged her full chest, her eyes full of surprise, staring intently at the gigantic creature in the sky, her eyes shining brightly. Everyone, this demonic beast is very similar to the ancient divine beast Kunpeng, recorded in an ancient book that I once read. Upon hearing these 2 words, everyone's hearts seemed to be squeezed. Kunpeng, an ancient divine beast. Hearing Senior Sister Tai say that, I also remembered. According to the description in the book, a fully grown Kunpeng has a body so huge that you can't see the end of it, and can swallow entire planets, roaming through the myriad realms. But this Kunpeng is clearly different from what's in the legends. Zhu Yongyan swallowed his saliva and said tremblingly, I think it's because this Kunpeng is still in its juvenile stage, gasp. A sound of inhaling cold air rang out everywhere. Such a rare, ancient divine beast actually appeared in the Xuantian sect and even obediently submitted to junior brother Ye. What is going on? Ye Junlin turned around and smiled, introducing, "Don't panic, this is my mount, Kunpeng." As soon as these words were spoken, they caused a shock everywhere. The group of peak lords from Sword Burial Peak gaped their mouths, their hearts filled with envy. Heavens, an ancient divine beast is willing to become junior brother Ye's mount? Zhu Yunian sighed. Junior brother Ye is indeed favored by the heavens. This is probably destiny. Meanwhile, Hong Tianye, who had a deeper understanding than others, suffered a heavy blow to his spirit. He was originally an immortal, who had been in the center of the Kulum region, and had come into contact with many secrets far beyond ordinary people. According to what he knew, divine beasts in this world had long been extinct, let alone the descendants of the ancient divine beast Kunpeng. But now, not only did a descendant of the Kunpeng appear, but it also voluntarily became Ye Junlin's mount. It's really too absurd. Thinking about what had happened, Hong Tianye almost held his breath, his heart surging, and his eyes looking at Ye Junlin completely changed. Thinking about the rumors, those who are blessed with great fortune will encounter unimaginable opportunities, and even divine beasts will come to them to acknowledge them as their master. Could this guy really be that kind of person? Possessing the rumored treasures of an ancient ruin, reaching the great ascension stage at a young age, and mastering various mysterious great divine powers. Now, even the descendant of the ancient divine beast Kunpeng has appeared to acknowledge him as its master. Isn't this the legendary person blessed with great fortune? Thinking of the humiliations he had suffered, Hong Tianye felt extremely bitter and almost shed tears. The grief in his heart turned into a river of lamentation. Why? A lazy and extravagant guy who just eats and sleeps is favored by the heavens, while I, a demonic cultivator, who has suffered so much and wandered everywhere, has to have my dignity trampled on by him. Up in the air, Ye Junlin patted Kunpeng's head, laughing. From now on, I'll call you Akun. Hearing this affectionate name, Kunpeng excitedly swayed its massive body, creating fierce gusts of wind that staggered the cultivators below. Ye Junlin thought for a moment, feeling like something was still missing. He raised his hand to form a seal, and pointed in one direction. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Under the control of his magic power, a magnificent palace burst from the mountainside, then slowly descended onto Kunpeng's back. Before the astonished eyes of countless people, Ye Junlin nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. Now I have a place to chill. The Sword Burial Peak Lord was completely dumbfounded. Looking at his mountain now bare, he held his head and screamed like a mole. Ah, that's my house! Puffed. Seeing this, the other Peak Lords couldn't help but burst into laughter. Sect leader Shu Yukenian coughed a few times, and said sternly, Zhao Shidi, I understand your feelings. Although Ye Shidi took your house, the sect will compensate you with a bigger one. The Sword Burial Peak Lord perked up, scratching his head and laughing. In that case, it's fine, no problem. Ye Junlin shouted. My dear disciples, hurry up here, your teacher is about to depart. Bai Xiaoxi replied, Okay, coming right now. Squeak, squeak. Then Bai Xiaoxi looked at Hong Tianye, who was bowing his head in silence, gently poked him with her small finger, and said cautiously, Hong Shixiong, Shizun is calling us. Hong Tianye slowly raised his head, his expression indifferent as he replied, Okay. He looked at Ye Junlin's figure, his eyes flashing with a sharp light, secretly thinking, HMPH. This deity admits that someone with great luck is indeed powerful, but this deity doesn't believe I'll always rely on others. As long as this deity endures long enough, sooner or later I'll seize your luck and turn it into mine. This thought was not without basis, because Hong Tianye was once a miserable beggar, who relied on his strong will to climb to the position of demonic sect leader, making the whole world tremble in fear. In his eyes, as long as you don't give up, nothing is impossible. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! Kunpeng flapped its giant wings, creating powerful air currents, soaring into the sky, disappearing from everyone's sight. Heavenly Fragrance Peak Lord worriedly asked, Will Ye Shidi's trip to the Shu family's banquet be dangerous? After all, the Shu family's old ancestor is a void immortal. Shu Yuninian put his hands behind his back, and flashed a meaningful smile. Rest assured, with an ancient divine beast by his side, what's a void immortal? As long as Ye Shidi doesn't cause trouble, I'll be thanking the heavens. The Zhu family wants to scare the tiger away from his mountain, but the tiger is coming to their door himself. I think the Zhu family will regret it. Cut to Lingzhou. In the sky tens of thousands of miles high, the clouds rolled, and suddenly floating islands appeared, of varying sizes, with houses densely packed on them. The islands were connected by cold, black, profound iron chains. In the center was a huge island, vast in area, surrounded by small islands like stars surrounding the moon. This central island had the densest spiritual energy, and all the buildings on the island were magnificent and majestic. Looking closely, you could see that this place was brightly decorated, and everywhere was filled with a joyous and lively atmosphere. That's right, this was the Shu family's territory. All the floating islands belonged to the Shu family, where generations of Shu family descendants lived. And the largest and most imposing island was obviously the Shu family's main residence, where the noble main line lived. But today was different, because the Shu family's old ancestor had just come out of seclusion, and the Shu family was specially holding a banquet. On this occasion, even the collateral branches of the family were qualified to go to the main island to to enjoy a bit of luck. In the sky, countless colorful streams of light streaked through space, heading towards the magnificent, huge island. Male and female cultivators in different clothing, some sitting on flying boats, some standing on flying swords or riding flying demon beasts, were all guests from the major Daolio provinces of the eastern region. You must know that the Zhu family's old ancestor, breaking through to the void immortal, meant that the Zhu family's status would rapidly increase. All the Zhu family members also benefited from this, from the main branch to the collateral branches, all rising like chickens and dogs to heaven. The Zhu family was already known as the #1 cultivation family in Lingzhou, and now with this event, that position was even more consolidated. For various reasons, all major and minor forces did not dare to offend the Zhu family, and all had to give some face to attend. At the Zhu family's main residence, inside was crowded with guests, with people coming and going. The grand elder of a sect cupped his hands and congratulated. Congratulations! Congratulations! The Zhu family has produced a void immortal. With a void immortal protecting you in the future, we are truly envious. A crown prince flattered, haha, that's not enough to say. Don't forget that he is now a void immortal, and who knows, in the future, he will break through to true immortal, and then wouldn't he be able to exist for hundreds of thousands of years? Young Master Xue, am I right? A well-known sword cultivator raised his glass, smiling. Young Master Xu is the eldest grandson of the Xu family, and his current status is even more formidable. Don't just talk about Lingzhou, I'm afraid that he can rampage throughout the entire eastern region. The surrounding guests also enthusiastically chatted, yes, please take care of us more in the future. The young man in brocade clothes, with a charming face and a smug smile on the corner of his mouth, waved his fan, looking extremely satisfied. Easy to say, we are all one family. The people who could come here were all well-known figures in the major Daogazhou provinces of the eastern region. Now they were all flattering him. This made Xue Tianyi's vanity extremely satisfied. Suddenly, a guest mentioned, that's right, I wonder if the Xue family sent an invitation to the Xuan Tian sect. The lively atmosphere suddenly became quiet, and curious eyes from all directions focused on Xue Tianyi. After the battle in the wasteland, the Xuantian sect's reputation is now the most resounding in the eastern region. Even the Yuhua Gate suffered heavy losses due to incorrect intelligence, with their cultivator army annihilated and many elders dying. Only ghosts know that Xuantian sect's Ye Junlin was actually a venerable. If the Xuantian sect participates in this banquet, it will have extraordinary significance. Xue Tianyi's eyes flickered, and he said with a cold smile, of course we did. But I don't know if the Xuantian sect dares to send someone here. Don't find some unknown nobody to deceive our Xue family, or they won't even be able to enter the door. A guest asked loudly, what if Ye Junlin comes in person? Hearing this name, Xue Tianyi remembered the black-robed figure, and his forehead slightly sweated, but his face still showed arrogance. He waved his fan and smiled, HMPH, then let that barbarian open his eyes and see what the Xue family of Lingzhou has to offer. A guest flattered, young Master Xu is truly domineering. Hearing this, the crowd enthusiastically raised their thumbs in praise. Although that Ye Junlin is a venerable, he still has to obediently offer wine to young Master Xu. After all, young Master Xu's old ancestor is a void immortal. No matter how strong a venerable is, he can't compare to a void immortal. Laughter broke out everywhere. Haha, that's right. Being constantly praised by everyone, Xue Tianyi felt like he was floating on clouds, and thought to himself with satisfaction, Ye Junlin, so what if you have a great reputation? In front of this young master, even a dragon has to obediently coil. Many cultivators knowledgeable about mythical beasts revealed shocked expressions. Kunpeng, I've heard of it. It's an ancient mythical beast thought to be extinct. For a kunpeng to appear at a major event, like the Xu family's banquet. Could this be an auspicious sign? Someone suddenly shouted. Wait, look closely. There's a palace on the kunpeng's back. This mythical beast has already been tamed. Immediately, gasps of astonishment echoed from all directions. Using a kunpeng as a mount? Just what kind of figure is this? Is there such a powerhouse in the eastern region? While everyone was discussing, the kunpeng, with its overwhelming presence, flew straight towards the Xu family's main residence on the massive island. On the island, from the elderly to the children, the entire Xu family was terrified by this powerful mythical beast. Young Master Xu, quickly look! Guests exclaimed and speculated that a great figure riding a kunpeng had arrived at the banquet. Heavens! Using a supreme-level mythical beast as a mount, the aura is truly unmatched. Just who is that person? Could it be related to the Xu family's old ancestor? Xue Tianyi was stunned, then coughed a few times, pretending to be deep in thought. That's right, this guest once had a connection with my family's old ancestor. I remember my parents telling me that when I was born, he appeared and wanted to take me as his adopted son, but my parents were worried that the karma would be too great, so they tactfully declined. Thinking back on it now, it's truly something. Upon hearing these words, everyone's expressions changed, and their respect for the Xu family increased another level. Such a thing actually happened? Even a great figure who uses a kunpeng as a mount has a connection with the Xue family, and even wanted to take Xue Tianyi as his adopted son back then. The Xue family's strength is truly terrifying. A dignified voice like a great bell echoed from within the residence, clearly reaching everyone's ears. May I ask which Taoist friend has traveled from afar to attend the banquet? I appreciate this kindness. A clear voice rang out, coming from a handsome young man with long silver hair, wearing a black robe embroidered with gold. Xuan Tian sect, Ye Junlin, with his hands clasped behind his back, leisurely stepped down, his expression calm. Boom! The atmosphere of the banquet instantly exploded. A person with a name, a tree with a shadow, the battle of desolate continent that shook the eastern region. was led by this person. Now he has personally arrived, and what's more, he's riding on a supreme-level Kunpeng mythical beast, completely overshadowing the Shu family. Someone couldn't help but exclaim, "I heard that the Xuantian sect is an ancient sect. I used to be skeptical, but now I have no doubts. Even a Kunpeng is used as a mount, which shows how terrifying the sect's foundation is." The most surprised person was Xue Tianyi. When he saw Ye Junlin stepping out from the Kunpeng's back, his mind almost exploded. This. An unprecedented sense of embarrassment and anger erupted in his heart. He had just boastfully fabricated a story about his close relationship with that great figure, but who knew that the great figure was actually Ye Junlin? Many guests looked at him with strange expressions, and some even tried to cover their mouths to stifle their laughter, but still made hissing sounds, showing how much they were trying to hold back. Young Master Shu. Just now, Shu Tianyi's face flushed red as blood. Shu Tianyi took a deep breath and said in a cold voice, "Did I say anything? I advise you all to think carefully." The crowd was startled and hurriedly shook their heads in denial. No, young Master Shu didn't say anything, we didn't hear anything either. Although they outwardly agreed, in their hearts they were secretly cursing. "Damn dog thing, you're so thick-skinned! HMPH!" Xue Tianyi sneered, his eyes filled with resentment as he looked towards Ye Junlin. At this moment, when the Xue family's old ancestor heard the name Ye Junlin, he was stunned for a moment, and his eyes became gloomy. Combined with the recent rumors, he never expected that the person who could ride the Kunpeng would be a junior cultivator. If it weren't for his fear of the Xuantian sect and the mysterious origin of the Kunpeng, he would have taken it long ago. After all, this was a descendant of an ancient mythical beast with pure blood and great potential. But now that the other party had come to his doorstep, he had to show enough respect, while also taking the opportunity to learn more about this person. The Shu family's old ancestor smiled and cupped his hands in greeting. "So it is Venerable Ye who has graced us with his presence, truly bringing glory to our Shu family." Normally, a pseudo-immortal like him wouldn't need to lower himself before a venerable, but Ye Junlin was an exception, a person worth his lowering his stance for. The system's voice rang out. "Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the mission, rewarding a 50x increase in the automatic cultivation speed of all divine abilities and techniques." Ye Junlin sighed inwardly. "Not bad, having a mount isn't bad." He turned to the Shu family's old ancestor, cupped his hands politely. "I, Ye, on behalf of the Xuantian sect, congratulate you on your successful breakthrough." The Shu family's old ancestor nodded slightly and gestured to invite him in. Immediately afterwards, Ye Junlin and his disciples leisurely entered the Shu family's residence. The other guests followed them with respectful gazes, whispering among themselves. The Buddhist continent monks called him the white-haired old devil, but, having seen him with my own eyes today, I think he's quite handsome, not as terrifying as the rumors say. Compared to that old devil name, I think white-haired killing god is more fitting. Too many people have died by his hands. Look at the red-clothed woman next to him. It's the eldest disciple, Hong Tianye, who outsiders call the Hong Immortal Fairy. Ah, so beautiful. Truly a peerless beauty. At first, everyone's attention was focused on Ye Junlin, but soon it shifted to Hong Tianye. Her striking red attire, aloof temperament, plus her exquisite and perfect face, made it hard for people to look away. As for Bai Xiaoxi, fearing being pointed at, she had specially worn a hat with a veil this time, hiding her rat head, only revealing her petite and lovely figure. Because she was always following behind Ye Junlin, she was mistaken by Lin Xiang as a page boy. Inside the veil, Bai Xiaoxi's dark eyes darted everywhere. When she discovered that the table was filled with rare fruits and desserts, she happily waved her small hand and cheered, "Wow, so many delicious things, Senior Brother Hong." "Quickly look." Hong Tianye grimaced, feeling helpless towards this carefree rat. Ye Junlin smiled and said, "Xiaoxi, if you want to eat, just help yourself." Bai Xiaoxi's eyes lit up, and she immediately rushed to the table, happily exclaiming, "Really? Then chomp chomp, I won't stand on ceremony anymore?" At this moment, Shu Tianyi narrowed his eyes, determined to take action to regain his lost face. He fanned himself with a fan, and walked gracefully, with a gentle smile. "Brother Ye, long time no see." Ye Junlin turned his head to look at him, his expression strangely assessing him from head to toe, secretly thinking in his heart, "Who is this idiot? Is he very familiar?" Seeing that Ye Junlin didn't react, Zhu Tianyi's smile stiffened. Shu Tianyi coughed a few times and added, "I am the young master of the Shu family, from the direct line of the Shu family's old ancestor." The meaning was very clear. "This young master's status is so noble. Aren't you going to quickly flatter me?" Ye Junlin raised his hand and picked his nose, nodding. "So that's how it is." Shu Tianyi smiled, preparing to receive the next words of flattery. "It's okay, it's not too late to know now." Ye Junlin dropped the sentence, turned his head, and walked away without looking back. "What does it have to do with me?" The smile on Shu Tianyi's face froze, his teeth clenched. He looked at Ye Junlin's back, his eyes bloodshot, screaming madly in his heart, "I am the young master of the Shu family, the future successor to the position of family head. My old ancestor is a pseudo-immortal. You devil dare to be rude to me." Unable to restrain himself, Shu Tianyi shouted, "How dare you!" The guests who witnessed this scene were stunned, truly too embarrassing. To save face at the banquet, Xue Tianyi had to suppress his anger, trying to regain his composure. His gaze shifted to Hong Tianye, and the thought popped into his head. "It's her. You defeated the holy son of the feather transformation sect, our Ye Junlin's eldest disciple, a peerless genius." This time, because he was at the banquet, he had time to slowly admire her. The more he looked, the faster his heart beat like a deer jumping around. So beautiful, this face, this temperament. was so different from the ordinary women he had been with before. He thought to himself, this handsome and unrestrained young master has made countless female cultivators unable to escape. As long as I make a move, relying on my charm, I will definitely be able to conquer her. He had played with countless women before, including those arrogant female cultivators. Now carrying the halo of the grandson of a pseudo-immortal, Shui Tianyi didn't believe that Hong Tianyi could maintain her composure. Moreover, he also had a wicked idea. If he could capture Ye Junlin's female disciple, wouldn't it be the same as having the pleasure of revenge? Thinking of the scene of pressing her under his body, he became even more excited. At this moment, Hong Tianyi was standing in front of an exquisite vase, frowning as she sensed a flower. The petals were glittering, as if inlaid with stars. The light emitting made people feel relaxed and comfortable. A gentle voice rang out from behind. Does immortal fairy Hong like flowers? Shu Tianyi approached, looking dashing as he fanned himself, and said with refined grace, this is a Yuda flower, a very rare species, perfect for viewing. Nice. My Shu family only managed to collect 6. As the saying goes, a precious sword for a hero, and beautiful flowers for a beauty. If the fairy likes it, please take it as a small token of my sincerity. He was extremely confident, because he had used this flower to conquer women before, and it was very successful. This flower is not only rare, but it can also stay fresh for thousands of years, especially at night. Its light becomes even more brilliant. Which woman could bear to refuse? Hong Tianyi, upon hearing this, showed an expression of disdain, placing the flower back in the vase. He thought to himself, you dumb pig. In Hong's little head, he was thinking, in the central domain, this flower is called a spirit essence flower, a top-grade ingredient for refining pills that enhance spiritual sense. Yet here, it's being put in a flower vase. Sure enough, you're all bumpkins. Seeing that Hong Tianyi didn't accept the flower, Shui Tianyi tried to probe Hong Fairy. Hong Tianyi couldn't take it anymore and said coldly, don't call me a fairy, this one is a man. Shu Tianyi froze, then chuckled. Hong Fairy is truly humorous. So beautiful and funny. I wonder if you would grace me with your presence in the guest room to discuss and debate the Dakatio. Upon hearing this, Hong Tianyi's face turned icy, his eyes blood red, and a chilling murderous aura burst forth. Get lost! Even so, Shui Tianyi didn't give up. Forcing a smile, Hong Fairy, I just want. Hong Tianyi's eyes were cold, and at the same time, a terrifying pressure emanated. If you dare disturb this one again, you'll die miserably. Shu Tianyi's soul nearly exploded. His eyes widened, cold sweat poured down, soaking his forehead and back, and his legs trembled uncontrollably. He seemed to see a blurry, blood-red figure standing amidst mountains of corpses and seas of blood, his whole body shrouded in destructive demonic flames, bringing an immense pressure. Shu Tianyi's face was covered in sweat, and he thought in terror, what the hell? Why does looking at her feel like seeing my ancestors from 18 generations coming to claim my life? Holy crap, this dude just peed his pants, haha. Thump. Shui Tianyi collapsed, his legs giving way, and knelt on the spot. The guests all exclaimed, heavens, young Master Shu is really crazy, actually kneeling before Hong Fairy. A female cultivator covered her mouth in surprise. Is this a new pursuit method? An angry voice rang out, accompanied by the imposing figure of the Shu family's patriarch stepping forward. You unfilial son, you've lost all the face of the Shu family. His face was as cold as ice, his eyes full of reprimand, and the sharp sound, like thunder, resounded in his ears, startling Shu Tianyi awake. He staggered to his feet, trembling, and said, Father! Slap! A resounding slap landed directly on his face, and Shu Tianyi's left cheek immediately swelled up, burning like fire. The Shu family patriarch angrily scolded, his eyes full of disappointment. Worthless trash, only knowing how to disgrace the family. He was a great ascension stage powerhouse. If he had really used his full strength, Shu Tianyi would have been killed on the spot. On the other side, Hong Tianyi stood with his arms crossed, a mocking smile on his lips. The Shu family patriarch turned to look at Hong Tianyi, clasped his hands, and said sternly, Hong Fairy, it's all my fault for not disciplining him properly. Hong Tianyi's smile disappeared, his cold eyes staring at the other party, emphasizing each word. This one is a man. The Shu family patriarch watched Hong Tianyi's departing figure, frowned slightly but ultimately said nothing more, thinking to himself, damn, those are some flat boobies. That waist though looks kinda feminine. That face is too pretty. It all looks delicious as hell, isn't it? The Shu family patriarch was stunned, then forced a laugh. Hong Fairy, you're so funny. Hong Tianyi tried to suppress his anger, took a deep breath, and decisively turned to leave. In his heart, he yearned to increase his strength so that one day he could return to how he was in the central domain, living freely, without worrying about any rules or constraints. Unlike now, where he felt restricted, Hong angrily turned his head. Bursting forth with killing intent, he roared, do you think I'm joking with you? You're all courting death? A moment later, there were the sounds of Bai Shaoxi's running footsteps, as he rushed over and shouted, Senior Brother Hong! Bai Shaoxi, with a gourd of wine balanced on his head, ran over and continued, Senior Brother Hong, Master told me to bring this wine for you. Try it, it's delicious. Hong Tianyi tried to suppress his anger, took a deep breath, then sighed. He thought to himself, I yearn to increase my strength, so that one day I can return to how I was in the central domain, living freely, without worrying about any rules or constraints, unlike now, where I feel restricted. Moreover, The old Zhu family ancestor's realm isn't one I can handle, so screw it. I'll just endure it for now. Next, Hong snatched the wine gourd from Bai Shaoxi's head, his face contorting with annoyance. Ugh! Hong angrily walked away, while Bai Shaoxi turned to the table next door, holding the wine gourd with both hands, drooling and muttering, Hey, Shaoxi also wants to try this wine. Without hesitation, Shaoxi lifted the wine gourd and chugged it down, causing his head covering to fall off. The surrounding crowd, seeing this, stared in astonishment, exclaiming, Oh my god, what the heck is this? I never expected this to be the silver-haired devil's habit of collecting disciples. Looks uniquely bizarre. Ye Junlin walked over, picked up the hat for Shaoxi, then patted his head and said with a smile, Shaoxi, be careful not to let your hat fall off. It easily makes people here have bad thoughts about your teacher. Bai Shaoxi's face flushed red, and he replied with a drunken smile, Yes, master. Ye Junlin put the hat back on Bai Shaoxi and led him away, laughing and saying, Come on, Shaoxi, let's go over there. There's a lot of good food. Shaoxi obediently followed and replied, Yes, master. The two of them walked through the crowd, but there was a notable figure, namely the hatted man they had just passed. He looked cold and detached, and his left hand was firmly gripping the hilt of his sword. Shui Tianyi's face was twisted with shame and anger. Hearing the surrounding whispers of mockery, the anger in his heart burst forth, and his whole body trembled with rage. Damn it, the ancestor is a void immortal, and I'm a direct bloodline. Masters and disciples, what gives you the right to treat me like this? He roared in his heart, hating both Ye Junlin and Hong Tianye. Unable to restrain his anger, fueled by alcohol, he roared at his subordinates. Bring some women here for this young master, right now. Sensing the anger in his voice, the subordinates knew someone would be tortured to death again. They bowed their heads obsequiously and replied, As you command. As he walked, Shu Tianyi resentfully thought, Ye Junlin, you rode a rock to crush the reputation of my Shu family, humiliating me like an ant in front of everyone. And your disciple too. I won't let you off. I want you to witness your disciple being chopped into 1,000 pieces, and your Xuan Tian sect being burned to ashes. Shu Tianyi was drunk, staggering as he walked. Suddenly, a foot appeared, and stood right behind Shu Tianyi. He stood watching Shui Tianyi and his subordinates walk into the distance. Hong stood silently on the side, observing, and discovered the mysterious actions of this assassin. But Hong didn't say anything, and Hong's realm was higher than that of the assassin, so he was completely unable to detect Hong standing right behind him. Standing behind and watching the assassin, Hong thought in surprise, This guy's murderous aura is intense. Looks like there's gonna be a good show to watch. Back at the mansion, sitting in the courtyard, Shui Tianyi, that son of a BTCH, was sitting at the table in the middle of the yard, furiously yelling, Why hasn't my woman arrived yet? The two maids standing in the yard were terrified, and hurriedly replied, We apologize. Shu Tianyi continued to roar, You trash! How dare you make me wait this long? Suddenly, the assassin wearing a hat appeared, holding a blade in his right hand, leaping forward and slashing with all his might at Shui Tianyi's back. Shui Tianyi didn't have time to react. The wine cup in his hand almost flew out, and his face was filled with panic. He hurriedly raised his hands to cover his face, and suddenly a layer of blue shield appeared on his body. The assassin's blade was blocked by this shield. The blade was thus bounced backwards. The assassin didn't expect Shui Tianyi to have a secret treasure on him that could provide life-saving protection at a crucial moment. You have to know that he's a nascent soul stage cultivator. Logically, killing a chi condensation cultivator is no different from crushing an ant. But not only did he fail to kill him, he was instead severely injured. Shui Tianyi, both frightened and angry, shouted, You're so bold, daring to assassinate this young master on Shui family's territory? This is Shui family's turf, where the Shuan ancestor is sitting guard. I can't believe there's a crazy person who dares to attack me, doesn't want to live anymore. At the same time, the commotion here has attracted the attention of the Zhu family guards. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. From all directions, countless divine senses converged, and powerful auras quickly approached. Angry shouts rang out one after another. Who dares to cause trouble here? The assassin gritted his teeth and thought, Damn it, I didn't expect to miss such a golden opportunity. I need to finish this quickly before the Zhu family guards arrive in greater numbers. Seeing the guard team approaching, Shu Tianyi laughed coldly a few times, about to say something, but suddenly felt goosebumps rise, and his whole body turned cold. The person wearing the hat in front of him suddenly radiated a more terrifying murderous aura than ever before. A deep voice rang out as if from hell, revealing a will that disregarded life and death. As long as I can kill you, you beast, what does it matter if I can never be reborn? Boom! As if performing some kind of secret technique, his whole body was filled with blood energy, and holding the long blade, he charged straight towards Shui Tianyi. Shui Tianyi hurriedly raised the folding fan in his hand to defend, secretly exclaiming in his heart, This is bad. This fan is a rare spiritual item. In the hands of a chi condensation cultivator, it's already a magical treasure far exceeding the standard. For others in the same realm, their magical treasures at most only reach the level of treasure items. Whoosh! Green light flashed to meet the attack, but it was instantly shattered by the ink-colored blade aura. Several guards standing in front were also cut in half by the assassin's slash, feeling very sad. Splurt! A bloody arm flew into the air. Shui Tianyi's blood splattered everywhere, like rain. Shu Tianyi clutched his severed arm, screaming miserably, Ah! Someone! Save me! Shu Tianyi was so frightened that his soul almost left his body. He shouted loudly. The guard thought angrily, Damn it. Most of the attacks are blocked by that shield. Just one more hit and you're guaranteed a coffin, you piece of trash. Shu Tianyi. A large group of angry guards rushed up. Don't hurt the young master. Among them, several leaders who had reached the nascent soul stage used all their strength to stop the assassin. The hat-wearing man erupted with a violent aura, regardless of his injuries, frantically slashing and killing to clear a path of blood, shouting, Whoever blocks me dies. Although he was initially backlashed and severely injured, After activating the secret technique, his strength had recovered somewhat. Regardless of the tearing pain, he was determined to chop off Xue Tianyi's head, even if it cost him his life. Shouts echoed. The scene was chaotic. Xue Tianyi looked at the injured man in the wide-brimmed hat, covered in blood in several places, even revealing white bones, which was extremely terrifying. But his fierce and brutal eyes stared at Xue Tianyi, and holding the blade, he rushed forward, madly roaring, "You dog, dare to run! I will definitely kill you today!" A cold, murderous aura enveloped him. Xue Tianyi's face turned pale, and his voice trembled as he said, "Hero, who are you? I haven't offended you. Why are you chasing after me? What do you want?" The man in the wide-brimmed hat said coldly, "Haha, the karma you've created you won't understand in your whole life. I swore to kill you. Luckily, heaven gave me this opportunity. Die, you piece of trash." The loud noise shook the entire Zhu mansion, and the crowd was stunned in disgust. What's going on out there? Is someone fighting? Such an important event. How could someone be so reckless? Have you heard? Just now an assassin attacked the young master, and the Zhu family guards are stopping him. Heavens. Really? Hearing this news, the banquet became chaotic, and the guests rushed out, exclaiming, "Such a thing actually happened!" Ye Junlin stroked his chin and suddenly noticed Hong Tianyé's contemplative expression, and said with a profound smile, "Little Hong, did you discover something early on?" Hearing this, Hong Tianyé also touched his chin and frowned, replying, "Master, I'm just guessing." Haha. The crowd instantly gasped in amazement. What? His name is Li Wuji, as in, the Blade Devil Li Wuji. The crowd gasped. One of the guests whispered, "It's him! It's really Blade Devil Li Wuji." That Li Wuji is pretty infamous in the eastern region. His blade skills are fast and precise. Plus, he does whatever the hell he wants. If he's annoyed, he'll just draw his blade and chop you down, no matter your background or status. He even went on a rampage in Yun province, challenging every expert he could find. Anyone he picked on was super unlucky, usually ending up completely ruined. For a long time, he terrified a lot of Yun province cultivators. They were scared of catching Li Wuji's eye. That's why he's called the Blade Devil. Master Shu's face darkened as he roared, "Damn it, how did that demonic cultivator get his hands on an invitation to the Shu family?" Li Wuji sneered. "Hey goons, don't go around saying I stole it." Xue Tianyi said angrily, "I may have heard of you, but I've never met you, and we have no grudges, so why are you trying to assassinate me?" Li Wuji replied like a maniac. "No grudges, you say?" Then he roared, "You killed my little sister." Xue Tianyi was stunned. Sister? Li Wuji recounted, "My little sister's name was Li Xiaofei. We wandered the eastern region together. After she broke through to the Golden Core stage, she planned to travel to Ling province. I was busy cultivating, so I didn't go with her. A few months later, the jade token she left behind shattered. That's how I found out she had met with misfortune in Ling province." Ling Wuji's eyes turned bloodshot, his voice filled with regret. "I rushed to Ling province to search for her. I finally found out that my sister had an argument with you at Drunken Immortal restaurant in Anyang City, and then the Xue family guards arrested her and she disappeared. Everyone in Anyang City knows that you, Xue Tianyi, are a lecher. I heard you cultivate evil arts, and many innocent female cultivators have died because of your torture. My sister was a Golden Core cultivator. You must have captured her. I can't imagine how horrible her death must have been. It's all because of you, Xu Tianyi. From then on, I swore to take revenge. I cultivated even harder, sought out people to spar with, and finally broke through to the integration stage. Over 100 years ago, I began looking for an opportunity for revenge. But you were always protected by powerful guards. I could only hide and wait for this opportunity. The Shu family banquet was the best opportunity. Because the most dangerous place is the safest place, I wanted to strike when you were most careless, on the Shu family's own turf, but I never expected." Saying this, Li Wuji roared with resentment. "Your life is too damn hard, too difficult to kill. I was so close." So close, Xu Tianyi regained his composure, frowned, and recalled Drunken Immortal Restaurant, Li Xiaofei. Then he looked at the injured Li Wuji and smirked. "So that's it, I remember now. That little firecracker was your sister." "That little firecracker was your sister. I remember her very clearly. Her figure was perfect, but unfortunately her personality was like fireworks, ready to explode at any moment." Hearing this, Li Wuji's eyes turned blood red with anger, but he couldn't do anything. Li Wuji recalled what his little sister used to say. "Senior brother, stop practicing the sword. Come spend time with me." Xue Tianyi licked his lips pervertedly and continued, "But those kind of women, the more you punish them, the more stubborn they become." Xue Tianyi recounted, "I still remember it clearly. Her figure was so hot, but her temper was like a firecracker. Just a little spark, and she would explode. It's exactly those kind of women, that when you tame them, you feel the most satisfied. I met her at Drunken Immortal Restaurant back then. I planned to approach her and get to know her, but she didn't know what was good for her, so I ordered my subordinates to capture her and tie her to my bed. I still remember how angry she was at that time, cursing me non-stop. But in the end, what I did made her unable to bear it, crying and begging me to forgive her." Her voice at that time, how sweet it sounded. Xu Tianyi seemed to be reminiscing. He clicked his tongue in admiration. That wild horse was indeed stubborn, but after passing through my hands, she finally had to obediently let me ride her freely. Li Wuji was in so much pain that tears streamed down his face. "Stop talking. Stop talking." Seeing the other party's desperate expression, Xue Tianyi became even more interested, his voice full of malice. "I tortured her for 3 days and 3 nights, and then when she was exhausted and mentally blurred, I got bored and just reached out and snapped her neck. I gave her a very merciful death. Li Wuji, I treated your little sister so well, and you still want to kill me. Shouldn't you be thanking me?" Haha. Hearing these words, Li Wuji completely collapsed. He screamed in madness, tears streaming down his face. "You're a beast that deserves to be cursed 10,000 times. Why is someone like you still alive? Why aren't you dead yet? I'm going to kill you, I have to kill you. That alien old ancestor's eyes lit up, and he shouted, "Shut up. How dare you act up here?" Following that, he pointed a finger, and Li Wuji was immediately blasted backward, splattering the tea from his clothes everywhere. Li Wuji's eyes were bloodshot, his mouth wide open as he spat out blood. Patriarch Shu stepped forward, loudly defending his son. HMPH. Li Wuji, a demonic cultivator like you, dares to act so presumptuously in my Shu family. Let me tell you, you're just a demonic cultivator. Your little sister becoming a human cauldron for my son Tianyi can be considered atonement for your sins. Besides, her life was worthless anyway. You actually dared to plot to kill the Keelan son of the Shu family for her sake? You deserve to die. Li Wuji roared in fury. Get lost. Comparing my sister to this animal, you're not worthy. You're just an old beast, a dog. Shu Tianyi shouted angrily. Shut your mouth! How dare you curse my father! It was your sister's blessing to die at my hands. And you, a demonic cultivator hunted by the world, dare to shout here! After saying that, he winked at his subordinates. Getting the hint, the subordinates immediately started yelling, Li Wuji, your sister was favored by our young master. Her death was well deserved. Don't act all high and mighty when you got lucky. How noble is our young master? A filthy demonic cultivator like you dares to slander him. You only lost a sister, but our young master lost an entire arm. The shouts echoed everywhere. Even some guests who wanted to curry favor with the Shanggu family started criticizing Li Wuji. See? It's clear who's right and who's wrong. The Shu father and son smirked coldly, while the Shu family ancestor remained expressionless, as if the whole thing wasn't even worth his attention. Li Wuji's eyes were crimson. He struggled to stand, yelling, You! All of you! But his body collapsed again, blood and internal organs spewing onto the ground. He was filled with hatred, hating how weak he was. Up in the air, Ye Junlin stood with his arms crossed, smirking coldly. One guy wants revenge for his sister who was branded a demonic cultivator, while some young master from a fancy family secretly does all sorts of dirty deeds but gets to wear the righteous hero label. How utterly ridiculous. Suddenly, the system activated a notification. Ding! Congratulations on activating a choice mission. Option 1. Intervene to protect Li Wuji, take him as a disciple, and make the Shu family ancestor personally kill Shu Tianyi, and still be grateful to you. Reward, Supreme Fist Art. Battle Saint Fist. Option 2. Remain silent in the face of injustice. Receive 10 low-grade spirit stones. Hearing the system's voice, Yi Junlin paused. What the? He wasn't just surprised because a choice mission suddenly popped up, but because even staying silent got him a reward of 10 low-grade spirit stones. Whoa, such a huge sum. I'll never spend it all. Never ever. He was being sarcastic. Tongzi, you mother-uff. Are you trying to shoo away a beggar with that? Of course, Ye Junlin utterly despised the second option. Only the first option was even worth considering. Stepping up to protect Li Wuji and taking him as a disciple seemed normal enough, but forcing the Shu family ancestor to personally kill his own grandson and then thank him for it? What kind of crazy stunt was that? Just then, Shu Tianyi, seeing his chance, flashed a wicked smile. Li Wuji, it's all over. Try to be smarter in your next life. He snatched a long sword from a guard and stalked towards Li Wuji, his eyes cold and brimming with killing intent. Many of the guests shook their heads and sighed. No strength, just a moth flying into a flame. A tragic smile appeared on Li Wuji's face as he thought sadly, Little sister, I'm useless. I'll be down there with you soon. Just as Shu Tianyi swung his sword down for the killing blow, a black shadow flashed by like lightning. A finger flicked out. Keng. The sword instantly snapped in two. Shu Tianyi stumbled back a few steps, stammering in shock. You! What are you doing? Everyone was stunned, staring blankly as they realized the one who'd intervened was Ye Junlin. The crowd immediately burst into an uproar, with non-stop chatter. What's going on? Someone from Xuantian sect wants to meddle. They want to protect that saber demon Li Wuji, but he's a demonic cultivator. That's not the main point. The main point is, this is Zhu family territory. Doing this is like slapping the Zhu family right in the face. Patriarch Shui came over, his face stern as he yelled, Venerable Ye, what is the meaning of this? Why are you stopping my son Tianyi from executing this demonic cultivator? Ye Junlin flicked his fingers casually and replied coolly, I find him interesting. Decided to take him as my disciple. Anyone who touches him, touches me. The moment those words were out, the entire Zhu family residence practically exploded. The crowd couldn't believe their ears, thinking they'd misheard, and started whispering, He's lost his mind. How could he dare say something like that? Li Wuji stared at the back of the figure shielding him, his face full of astonishment. Senior! He was a cultivator from the eastern region, so of course Shu Tianyi knew of Ye Junlin's fame. A rising star shooting up like a rocket. But he never dreamed this guy would actually take a demonic cultivator like him as a disciple. Consequences be damned. The Shu family ancestor's face grew darker and darker. His voice, dripping with menace, boomed out with a terrifying aura that seemed to make the sky itself tremble. A mere junior dares to openly provoke a void immortal expert to his face. Ye Junlin, you better think carefully about the consequences. If you leave now, I can pretend nothing happened. All around, the surrounding cultivators were trembling, their faces pale, muttering, Avoid immortal's wrath. Not something just anyone can handle. Li Wuji pleaded in panic. Senior, please, just go. I'll never forget your kindness. If there's a next life, I'll definitely work like an ox and horse to repay you. Hong Tianye, standing next to Ye Junlin, was also dumbstruck by this sudden turn of events. His perfect face showed clear disbelief. In Hong Tianye's eyes, risking your life out of compassion for a total stranger was an act of extreme stupidity. This guy's nuts. Does he think he's invincible, challenging a void immortal in broad daylight? Is he not afraid of death at all? Ye Junlin suddenly turned his head, giving Hong Tianye a meaningful smile. Little Hong, what are you still standing there for? Get over here and protect your junior brother. Hong Tianye was screaming internally. Damn it, if you want to be crazy, fine, but don't drag me down with you when you die. But under Ye Junlin's oppressive aura, he could only grit his teeth and reluctantly shuffle over to stand beside him. Ye Junlin nodded, satisfied. Good boy. Kids, these days, are so teachable. Hong Tianye's mouth twitched. He felt like he was about to explode. The Zhu family ancestor's eyes were like ice. His roar, like a clap of thunder, boomed across the space. Do you really think my Zhu family is that easy to bully? The mighty aura pressed down like a mountain, making all living beings on the floating islands tremble. An enraged void immortal was no different from heavenly might itself. Hong Tianye felt the immense pressure crushing him, his spiritual power practically frozen in his body. He gritted his teeth and cursed under his breath. Damn it! This is the difference in power. Bai Xiaoxi, scared sober from her drunken state, held up her trembling little hands and squeaked in an adorable mouse-like voice. Squeak, squeak, no more drinking. Squeak, squeak, no more drinking. Facing the pressure from the Shu family ancestor, Ye Junlin wasn't scared at all. In fact, he was thrilled, cheering internally. That's right, this is it. Come on, make your move. As long as the Shu family ancestor attacks, forget completing the mission or not, leveling up is a sure thing. Suddenly, the sky darkened, and another terrifying aura filled the space. This new wave of pressure was so strong it completely crushed the Zhu family ancestor's aura, forcing him back. The Zhu family ancestor cried out in shock. Who is it? He thought to himself. The newcomer was clearly also a void immortal, but their aura was even stronger than his. A majestic, icy voice echoed from the sky, thick with killing intent. Where is Ye Junlin? Ye Junlin raised an eyebrow, sensing the intense hostility. Which mutt is barking now? Whoosh! A magnificent figure appeared in the sky, radiating a dazzling light like a brilliant sun. His whole body glowed, carrying an inviolable divine aura. In that instant, countless cultivators from all over the eastern region felt an overwhelming power, an involuntary urge to submit welling up from within. This pressure far surpassed that of the Zhu family ancestor. The Shu family ancestor struggled to remain calm, but his eyes showed clear wariness. He spoke, feeling extremely annoyed. May I ask which Taoist friend has arrived? Then he thought bitterly, I just broke through to Void Immortal, was all set to be high and mighty, basking in everyone's admiration, and now someone even stronger shows up. What stung the most was that even though they both just entered the Void Immortal realm, this guy's aura was way stronger, making him look like a cheap knockoff. Ye Junlin muttered, pulling out a pair of custom-made sunglasses to shield his eyes from the blinding light. Damn it! Which son of a bitch is showing off so damn much? Through the lenses, he could clearly see the figure in the light. A middle-aged man in a bright yellow robe. His shimmering golden hair was braided into small plaits that hung down his chest and back, and his entire being radiated a destructive killing intent. A majestic voice, like it came from the 9 heavens, resounded with an irresistible authority. This seat is from Yuhua sect. My Taoist title is Zhuyang. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone's expression changed, and they started whispering. I know him. He's Venerable Zhuyang, considered the strongest expert in Yuhua sect, and he's also the master of Yuhua sect's holy son. Now we have to call him Zhuyang Void Immortal. He just broke through, and he's already this powerful. He came here personally. He must be after Ye Junlin. Looks like it'll be hard to escape this time. Finally, the Shu family ancestor understood, secretly sneering. Ye Junlin, you're asking for death. No need for me to act. You're definitely gonna bite the dust today. That's good too. If Ye Junlin dies at the hands of the Yuhua sect, the Shu family has nothing to do with it. Thinking this, the Shu family ancestor immediately put on a smile, cupping his hands to flatter Zhuyang. Congratulations, Taoist, on stepping into the tribulation transcendent stage. We are all fellow void immortals. Zhuyang Shuxian didn't even bother to acknowledge him, coldly saying, I'm here only to find Ye Junlin. Heard he's attending this banquet. In his eyes, fellow void immortals were as different as heaven and earth. The Shu family ancestor was just third-rate material. The Shu family ancestor suppressed his annoyance, forcing a smile, replying, Yes, he is here. Please, Taoist, settle your personal matters, the guest whispered, glancing at Ye Junlin. Ye Junlin acted like he didn't care, still wearing his sunglasses. He raised his middle finger, arrogantly saying, This daddy is right here. Got a problem? The atmosphere instantly became extremely tense. The crowd was startled, looking at him like he was crazy. This guy has a death wish. Instantly, the crowd scattered like birds startled by a bow, hastily avoiding Ye Junlin. Even Li Wuji, crawling on the ground, considered whether he should slither further away. He once thought he was crazy. But compared to this guy, he was just a small fry meeting a big shot. Hong Tianye stood frozen like a statue, muttering, It's over. A pillar of destructive light tore through the sky. A heavy pressure descended. Zhuyang Shuxian, his wild golden hair like burning flames, his eyes shining like 2 small suns, roared with fury, Ye Junlin. The roar echoed in all directions, causing the entire archipelago to tremble violently. Many old men and children painfully clutched their heads, blood streaming from their ears, bodies rolling on the ground. Facing this rage, Ye Junlin only nonchalantly picked his ear, his voice full of dissatisfaction. What are you barking about, I'm asking? What the hell are you barking about? Zhuyang Shuxian completely lost control, instantly raising his hand, condensing a brilliant ball of light, shouting, You bastard, die! The glowing ball blazed brightly, like a miniature sun, carrying countless interwoven runes, shooting straight towards Ye Junlin. Whoosh! The ball of light grew larger and larger, the light suffocating, and the terrifying pressure spread for miles, engulfing the entire area like it was in a furnace. Standing before the dazzling light, Hong Tianye only felt his whole body turn cold. He wanted to retreat, but realized the space had been sealed, unable to escape, and inwardly cried out, "It's over! This is the power of a void immortal." The Shu family ancestor was watching, his lips twitching, saying, "Taoist, if that ball falls, will the Shu family's residence even exist?" But now, he could only let the other party kill and vent his anger as he pleased. Rumble, rumble! The enormous ball of light blazed like a descending sun, illuminating the entire sky. Ye Junlin felt the blood in his body boiling, and just then, the system announced, "Ding! Detected that the host is being attacked by an enemy in the Tribulation Transcendence realm, activating the passive effect, the stronger the enemy, the stronger I become, gaining mid-stage Tribulation Transcendence cultivation." As the system's voice sounded, a wild energy burst from within Ye Junlin's body, and his aura changed. Ye Junlin's whole body glowed, his skin as white as jade, every line exuding nobility. His eyes shone as if containing galaxies, his long silver hair glistened like the Milky Way, his temperament ethereal like an immortal. Long Tianye felt the terrifying aura from Ye Junlin, his mind struck by lightning, stammering, You are also a void immortal." Ye Junlin smirked coldly, lightly raising his hand, using only one finger to flick lightly towards the ball of light, coldly saying, "Common trick." Bang! An invisible force struck the huge ball of light, sending it flying backwards. Zhu Xian widened his eyes in stunned disbelief, muttering, "What? Boom!" The ball of light exploded in midair, the dazzling light as if wanting to incinerate the entire sky. The wild energy waves spread in all directions, tearing apart everything within range. The scene left everyone petrified, speechless, all turned to stone, standing dumbfounded, mouths agape in astonishment. The Shu family ancestor was horrified, his heart violently shaken. What, mid-stage tribulation transcendence? This guy cultivated silently, and his cultivation is higher than mine. Zhu Xian, his fiery golden hair flying, his eyes fiercely staring at Ye Junlin, his facial muscles twitching. Isn't this treating me like a joke? Clearly reached mid-stage tribulation transcendence, yet pretending to be a great ascension cultivator, deceiving the entire Yuhua sect. Not long ago, after breaking through to the tribulation transcendence realm, Zhu Xian heard that the sect suffered great losses, so he wanted to take advantage of the Shu family's banquet this time, using thunderous means to eliminate the hidden danger in his heart. After all, a void immortal eliminating a revered one is as easy as turning over his hand, but who knew that things would exceed expectations? The opponent's true cultivation was even higher than his. He panicked. The more Zhu Xian thought about it, the angrier he became, furiously roaring, "Shameless, you're a void immortal, yet pretending, disgracing us cultivators." The fireball that Junyang fired was already right in front of Ye Junlin's face. The young man did not flinch but stood still, calmly looking at the fireball flying towards him. Ye Junlin felt the blood in his body boiling, and just then, the system announced, "Ding! Detected that the host is being attacked by an enemy in the Tribulation Transcendence realm, activating the passive effect. The stronger the enemy, the stronger I become, gaining mid-stage Tribulation Transcendence cultivation." His aura changed. Ye Junlin's whole body glowed, his skin as white as jade, every line exuding nobility. Little Hong saw this, and her eyes widened, her mouth agape, exclaiming, "What? He's also in the Tribulation Transcendence realm? This pressure looks even scarier than that ancient god barking in the deepest part of the goddamn demon realm. Damn it, this guy's cultivation is just too twisted." Ye Junlin smirked coldly, lightly raising his hand, using only one finger to flick lightly towards the ball of light, coldly saying, "Common trick." Bang! An invisible force struck the huge ball of light, sending it flying backwards. Zhu Xian widened his eyes in stunned disbelief, watching the ball being sent back. He used thunderous methods to eliminate the hidden danger in his heart. After all, wouldn't it be as easy as flipping his hand for a void immortal to eliminate a venerable? But who knew things would exceed expectations? The opponent's true cultivation was even higher than mine. What the heck? The more Zhu Xian thought about it, the angrier he got, and he shouted furiously, "Shameless, you mangy dog, pretending to be a void immortal, you're losing face for us cultivators." Ye Junlin put on an honest expression and said decisively, "Hey buddy, it's a misunderstanding, I just broke through. I was really a Grand Ascension Realm cultivator before, I swear to heaven." Zhu Xian was so angry he almost vomited blood. He had never heard such a clumsy lie, and roared, You lying piece of shush, you think I'm a kid, grr." At this time, Zhu Xian made a long sound like a mad dog, and countless dazzling rays of light burst out from his entire body. He gathered his strength and struck out a powerful golden palm print, carrying shocking energy waves. Swish! A palm print thousands of feet wide appeared in the sky, interwoven with countless dazzling golden runes. In the palm of the hand, there was also a huge ball of light floating, and the sweltering heat filled the air, making people feel dry and hot. But Ye Junlin just stood still, with his arms crossed in front of his chest, a mocking smile on the corner of his mouth. "Then let me prove it to you. Hee hee, boom boom." Wild light burst out brilliantly, and the energy flow overturned the entire sky. The Shu family's ancestor sneered and muttered gleefully, "Die? Who told you to be arrogant? This time you're sure to die at Zhu Yang's hands. Ha ha." After a while, when the smoke cleared, Zhu Yang's face changed as he looked at Ye Junlin and exclaimed in his mind, "How could this be possible? His body can actually withstand my attack." The Shu family's old ancestor broke out in a cold sweat, thinking, "Oh crap. We're both early-stage tribulation transcenders. How can the difference between people be so great? If it were me taking that blow, I would definitely be seriously injured. And standing still to take the hit, I would definitely be evaporated on the spot. HMPH. Thought you could be arrogant with your high cultivation. Deserve to suffer under Junyang Taoist's hands." Ye Junlin flexed his arms, and the power around him radiated. The young man smiled and looked at Zhu Yang and said, "Damn dude, didn't you eat breakfast? Hit harder. My pecs are harder than the Yuhua sect's sect protection formation." Zhu Yang Zhuxian was both horrified and angry. He hadn't held back at all in his previous move, but he was met head-on by the opponent's body. He blurted out, "You! How could you withstand this palm of mine?" Immediately, Zhu Yang's evaluation of Ye Junlin's strength increased a level. Then he shouted, "Sun Radiance Wheel!" Zhu Yang Zhuxian raised his hand, and a metal ring, red and gold all over, appeared. When it was infused with surging magic power, it emitted a bright light like the sun. A little note for you guys, this is a rare Xuan weapon. Even if it's only a first-grade Xuan weapon, its value far exceeds 10,000 ninth-grade spirit weapons combined. You must know that the evolution of spirit weapons into Xuan weapons is the difference between a loach and a dragon, completely not on the same level. Zhu Yang Zhuxian grinned, fully motivating the Sun Radiance Wheel, and said, "This Xuan weapon that the sect worked hard to create, even late-stage tribulation transcending cultivators have to treat it carefully. Let me see if you are harder or my Xuan weapon is harder." Whoosh! The Sun Radiance Wheel flashed and emitted endless divine light, tearing through space and slashing straight at Ye Junlin. Ye Junlin sneered, "Ha!" Then he secretly circulated the Undying Overlord body technique. Boom! The momentum around his body suddenly soared like a mountain, and layers of white, rushing chi surged like waves straight into the sky. Clang, 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 deafening sounds rang out. The Sun Radiance Wheel spun at a dizzying speed, but it was all blocked by Ye Junlin's raised hands. Large patches of fire fell, burning the ground ablaze, lasting for 3 days and 3 nights. The scene was extremely magnificent, making people dizzy. Zhu Yang Zhuxian roared, "Damn it, I don't believe you can be so hard." Whoosh! The Sun Radiance Wheel flared up, its light dazzling, its power greatly increased, carrying an indestructible force to chop off Ye Junlin's head. The scorching hot wind howled, and the sharp blade seemed to tear through space. Sensing the danger, Ye Junlin's eyes flickered, more serious. He raised his hands like a pair of steel tongs, forcefully holding the Sun Radiance Wheel that was spinning rapidly, sparks flying everywhere. This scene stunned all the cultivators present, murmuring, Is this a human? Bare hands to receive a Xuan weapon?" Old ancestor Xue Jia was sweating profusely, muttering, "Could this guy be an ancient ferocious beast in human form? With such terrifying defensive power, if it were me, I would have been crushed into mincemeat by the Sun Radiance Wheel long ago." Zhu Yang Zhuxian's face was pale, and he exclaimed, "Impossible." Ye Junlin said triumphantly, and in his heart he had a clear assessment of the strength of his body, and thought triumphantly, "My hardness, you wouldn't want it even if you asked." Boom! The male lead accumulated strength and threw a powerful punch, hitting the Sun Radiance Wheel back into Zhu Yang Zhuxian's hand. Seeing his Xuan weapon easily knocked away, Zhu Yang Zhuxian was shocked and thought, "The Sun Radiance Wheel is powerful, second only to immortal artifacts, made specifically to deal with tribulation transcending cultivators, but it was resisted by the opponent's body. This is something that has never happened before." Ye Junlin shook his head and sighed. "Considering you helped me break through, I'll give you one more chance to risk your life." Hearing this, Zhu Yang Zhuxian felt humiliated, his self-esteem trampled on, and the murderous aura on his body erupted violently. His eyes were bloodshot, full of madness and rage as he roared, "Ye Junlin, I will never rest until you are dead." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Silver patterns began to appear on his skin, glittering with silver light, and the aura around his body became sacred, as if he was about to ascend on the spot. Ye Junlin laughed sarcastically. "Ah, I know this move. It seems to be called Ascending Rooster Technique. Damn, the young man is strong and also a trash talker, but I like you." Zhu Yang Zhuxian roared, his eyes as if they wanted to spit fire. "Shut up, don't slander the Yuhua sect's secret technique." At this time, a reverse triangular pattern appeared on Zhu Yang's forehead, and his pupils shot out dazzling silver light, and the momentum around his body was many times stronger than before. A shout resounded through the sky, "Kill!" The Sun Radiance Wheel emitted 10,000 rays of light, spinning extremely fast, splitting into thousands of illusory images covering Ye Junlin. In this instant, Ye Junlin truly felt pressure. The young man circulated the majestic magic power in his body, raised his hand to form the Human King's seal, and shattered the series of illusory images of the Sun Radiance Wheel. Then, the male lead unhesitatingly aimed directly at Zhu Yang Zhuxian and pressed his hand down. Zhu Yang Zhuxian roared madly, using all his strength to resist this seal. His entire body shone brightly, and every pore sprayed out dazzling golden light as he shouted, "You can't!" Boom, boom, boom. Finally, the Human King's seal was dissolved. Zhu Yang Zhuxian, covered in blood, with a distorted expression of madness, continued to shout, "9 suns burning the sky." He desperately circulated the Ascension transformation art. His skin, covered in patterns, began to crack. But the unleashed power became even more terrifying. Whoosh! Golden suns materialized in the sky, and in an instant, 9 great suns appeared, filling the heavens. Terrifying heat poured down. Golden light enveloped the earth, a scene of indescribable horror. On the island, countless people were enveloped in smoke, screaming in agony. Many party guests were terrified, hastily taking out magical treasures to resist the intense heat, exclaiming, "Zhu Yang Zhuxian is really going all out." Ye Junlin smiled faintly, slowly raising his hand above his head, and said, Open your dog eyes and see clearly. A dazzling mass of 5-colored light condensed, then expanded at an unimaginable speed. Boom! A boundless, magnificent 5-colored divine sun appeared, its 5-colored light illuminating heaven and earth like eternal immortality. Ye Junlin shouted. 5 extreme samsara grand annihilation art. Juyang Void Immortal was terrified, but was instantly consumed by a berserk killing intent. Green veins bulged all over his face, his blood practically boiling in his body. He roared, "Today, it's either you die or I die." As soon as he finished speaking, the 9 golden light balls covering the sky simultaneously pressed down. Ye Junlin smiled faintly and threw the 5-colored ball in his hand. You think you're worthy with just that? The 5-colored light ball carried overwhelming power, a million rays of dazzling divine light, colliding fiercely with the 9 golden suns. Boom, 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 boom. The 5-colored divine light was like a vast ocean, engulfing the golden suns one by one, boundless energy spreading towards Juyang Xuxian. Juyang watched his powers being devoured by Ye Junlin, and Ye Junlin just stood there, nonchalantly like it's nothing. Seeing this scene, Juyang Xuxian was stunned, then madly pulled his hair, laughing like a crazy person. It's fake. It's all fake. Little Hong frowned, wondering who could have expected a newly advanced void immortal to be driven to insanity. Quickly, before the horrified eyes of countless people, Juyang Xuxian's figure was enveloped by the 5-colored divine light. Ye Junlin put on his sunglasses, his eyes full of meaning, as he looked at the middle-aged man. Ah, finally, it's less blinding. Looking at this appearance, isn't Ye Junlin kinda handsome? Haha. Old Ancestor Shu was still immersed in shock. Suddenly noticed Ye Junlin's gaze, scared so his face turned pale as paper, hurriedly shouted, Ye Xuxian's divine powers are vast, I am utterly admired. Whoosh! Ye Junlin rushed to Old Ancestor Shu's side, patted his shoulder and said, Little Shu, you don't have any objections to me seeking revenge for my disciple, right? Old Ancestor Shu heard this and didn't dare to resist, sweat pouring like rain. He forced a bitter smile and replied, Ye Xuxian, how dare I? He's yours to take. HMPH. Ye Junlin's hand tightened slightly, the sound of bones cracking on Old Ancestor Shu's shoulder. Intense pain surged. Old Ancestor Shu grimaced in pain, his heart filled with fear, exclaiming, Ah, Ye Xuxian, please spare me. Ye Xuxian. Ye Junlin said indifferently, My disciple, Li Wuji, was miserably oppressed by your Shu family. As his master, I naturally have to seek justice. Do you think that's reasonable? Old Ancestor Shu immediately knelt down and trembled, asking, Reasonable, very reasonable, just don't know what Ye Xuxian plans to do? Helpless? Old Ancestor Shu was now like clay, only to be kneaded at will. Ye Junlin narrowed his eyes, his voice as cold as ice, the killing intent radiating made the temperature suddenly drop, said, I want you to personally kill all the Junlei family members here. Old Ancestor Shu was struck by lightning, blurting out, Ye Junlin asked nonchalantly, Is this request excessive? Old Ancestor Shu's face was extremely ugly. He looked up at Ye Junlin and thought to himself, This request is not only excessive, it's fundamentally cruel beyond imagination. There are at least several hundred million Shu family members on this archipelago. Asking me to personally kill them all, how can I accept that? Old Ancestor Shu bowed his head and pleaded, Ye Xuxian, can you lower the request? Many Zhu family members are innocent. Ye Junlin was indignant. Raising his left hand and clenching it, said, Yeah, you only lose clansmen, but my disciple lost his little sister. Don't you have any sympathy, old man? Old Ancestor Shu trembled, but felt something was strange, replied, You're right. Ye Junlin continued to threaten. Think about it. Now that you have broken through to Void Immortal, your lifespan is extended to 10,000 years. Isn't it enough for you to remarry and have more grandsons, rebuild your family? Old Ancestor Shui pleaded bitterly. If I do that, I will definitely be disturbed by inner demons. What cultivation will I have from now on? Please, Ye Xuxian, be merciful. Little Shui really can't do it. Ye Junlin looked at him for a long time, finally sighed, as if he had made a decision, looked up at the sky and lamented. All right then, who asked me to be a reasonable person? If that's the case, you only need to deal with the ringleaders. The Shui family head and the young man Shui Tianyi were stunned. The Shui family head blurted out, What, old ancestor? At most, we can only fight him to our mutual destruction, but life is not as one wishes. Hearing this, old ancestor Shu was stunned, then overjoyed, hastily cupping his hands to thank you, Ye Xuxian. In his heart, he thought, from having to exterminate the entire Zhu clan to only needing to kill one person to atone for his sins, this is indeed the best possible outcome. Immediately afterwards, old ancestor Shu's cold gaze turned towards the Shu family head, his rebellious descendants behind him. The Shu family head's face turned pale, a sense of unease surged. Old ancestor Shu did not hesitate, waving his hand and slapping a palm towards the Shu family head. This palm pierced through him, old ancestor Shu said coldly. The Shu family members exclaimed in shock. Family head? Shu Tianyi was stunned for a few seconds, then roared, Father! He never expected that the old ancestor would suddenly kill his father on the spot. Zhu Tianyi angrily questioned. Why, old ancestor? Why did you do that? Old ancestor Shui didn't bother to pay attention to him, only cautiously turned to Ye Junlin, carefully asking, Ye Xuxian, are you satisfied now? Ye Junlin glared. Satisfied, my ass? Are you a pig? I told you to kill that idiot. Why did you kill his father? The Zhu family's ancestor was dumbfounded, looking wronged. You said the ringleader, I thought. Like father, like son. Shouldn't the responsibility fall on his father? Ye Junlin waved his hand impatiently. All right, while you're at it, take care of that little bastard Zhui Tianyi too, and clean everything up for me. The Shui family's ancestor hurriedly cupped his hands, bowing his head. Yes, I'll do it right away. I guarantee you'll be satisfied. After he finished speaking, the Shui family's ancestor glared angrily, turning to face Shui Tianyi. The Shu family's ancestor roared hatefully, clenching his fist. Worthless thing! You dragged the entire family down the path of destruction. Die for me! Bang! Aha! An invisible hand grabbed Shui Tianyi's neck. Lifting him into the air, Shui Tianyi was like a dog being choked, struggling in pain. His body creaked. His internal organs felt like they were burning. His face turned as red as pig liver. His eyes bulged, and he looked at the ancestor in horror. Why? Why, ancestor? You again! The Shu family's ancestor roared with murderous intent. You must die for the things you've done. The invisible hand tightened even more. Shu Tianyi's cheeks puffed up as if they were about to explode. His eyes rolled back, and blood sprayed out like rain. And then, his body was crushed into a pile of bones and blood in mid-air by the Shu family's ancestor. The scene before their eyes left everyone around dumbfounded, unable to believe what they saw. Ye Junlin nodded. All right, the old matter is considered settled. The Shu family's ancestor breathed a sigh of relief, cupping his hands and bowing deeply. Thank you, Ye Zhuxian. On behalf of the entire Shu family, I thank you for your great kindness and virtue. At this time, Li Wuji, drenched in blood, finally resolved the knot in his heart after many years. He raised his face to the sky and laughed loudly, tears falling like rain. Ha ha, little sister, can you see? That beast has finally received his retribution. Whoosh! Ye Junlin appeared in front of Li Wuji, his expression serious. Li Wuji, now that your great revenge has been taken, are you willing to become my disciple? Li Wuji stared blankly at the silver-haired youth before him, tears streaming down his face. Then, he knelt down on both knees with a thud. Perhaps because he was too emotional, his voice trembled as he shouted, I, Li Wuji, am willing to enter your sect. From today on, this humble life is yours. Whatever you want me to do, just order me. Even if I have to die, I won't refuse. If I betray the sect, may Li Wuji die without a burial place. The firm oath echoed, the tone full of determination. Under the witnessing eyes of many, Li Wuji struggled to kneel down, slamming his hands hard on the ground, shouting with all his strength, Disciple Li Wuji greets master. Ye Junlin smiled and hummed. Just then, the system appeared again. Ding, the system announces. Congratulations to the host for completing the quest, receiving the Peerless Fist Art, the Fighting Saint first. Ding. Detecting the aptitude of the host's disciple. The system provides a free upgrade service package. Ding. Rewarding a supreme saber technique, the Chaos Heaven Saber Art. Ding. Rewarding a Qian Yuan burning blood pill. Activating the potential Mad Demon bloodline in the host's disciple's body. The Mad Demon bloodline is an extremely rare physique in the myriad realms. Those who possess it can greatly increase their combat power in a short period, but their minds will fall into chaos, like a madman. If the situation is serious, they may lose their original heart, constantly creating killing until their life is exhausted. Ye Junlin exclaimed in surprise. Ah, I didn't expect to actually pick up a treasure. It seems that Li Wuji's reckless and uninhibited behavior is because he already possessed the potential Mad Demon bloodline. If this bloodline is activated, his strength can skyrocket in a short period. But the consequence is that it cannot be sustained for long. Otherwise, his spirit will be seriously affected, turning him into a destruction machine that only knows how to kill. After a moment of thought, Ye Junlin reached out his hand and said softly, Li Wuji, I will now pass on a new saber technique to you. Hearing this, Li Wuji held his breath for a moment, then thought with confidence. Currently, I cultivate a low-grade sovereign saber technique, which is a legacy left by a senior of the Great Ascension stage. My newly accepted master is a Tribulation Transcension cultivator. I wonder what level of saber technique he will impart. In fact, Li Wuji was a little worried. In his eyes, Ye Junlin was not a Dao cultivator, and he was afraid that his understanding of the saber Dao was limited, leading to a lack of common understanding. But the next second, Li Wuji realized he was wrong. First, swallow this pill. It'll have a transformation you won't believe. With that, he pulled out a box containing a medicinal pill and handed it over. Li Wuji carefully took it, excitedly opening it, his eyes instantly revealing a look of shock. The pill looked ugly, pitch black, and emitted a strong, foul odor, looking no different from a piece of dog poop. If brought to any auction, he'd definitely be accused of joking around and be kicked out immediately. Li Wuji's lips twitched as he asked, This is for me to eat? Ye Junlin was also stunned on the spot. He didn't expect the system-granted pill to have such a poor appearance and be mixed with such a foul odor. Ye Junlin secretly asked, Tongzi, you're not fooling me, are you? Can this really help my disciple activate the demonic bloodline? A coquettish voice rang in his head, like a little girl being bullied and sobbing. Oh, is Master doubting the system's level again? The system is really heartbroken. Wah, seems like after installing the little girl voice pack, even the style of speaking has changed, Ye Junlin said helplessly. All right, I believe you. Then he looked towards Li Wuji, who was feeling awkward, and said sternly, What's this about? You don't trust your teacher? Where's the vow you just made? Hearing this, Li Wuji felt extremely ashamed. How could he doubt his master? As long as it was his master's order, even if it really was dog poop, what was there to fear? He blurted out, Master, your disciple was wrong. Your disciple will immediately eat this dog poop. No, this medicinal pill. Li Wuji suppressed his discomfort, stuffed the pill into his mouth, and swallowed it. In an instant, the medicinal power erupted in his body, turning into a torrent of heat flowing throughout his limbs and hundreds of meridians. Suddenly, Li Wuji exclaimed, Ugh! Ah, master, it hurts! Li Wuji felt his entire body burning up, his skin like red-hot iron, the wounds all over his body rapidly healing, his eyes gradually turning blood red, his face twisted hideously, and his white teeth dripping with saliva, looking no different from a wild beast that had lost its mind. Gao! A heaven-shaking roar rang out, causing countless people to cover their ears, their faces revealing pain. Everyone was terrified, their hair standing on end as they exclaimed, "Heavens, what's wrong with Dao Mak Li Wuji? I can feel a strange aura from him, and I'm naturally terrified. Everyone be careful, his condition is very abnormal." Li Wuji's entire body exuded an extremely terrifying aura. He tore at his hair and roared madly, his bloodshot eyes seeming to have completely lost their minds. Ye Junlin raised an eyebrow, thinking, "Is this the activation of the demonic bloodline?" The system explained, "Ding, that's right, but the activator will fall into a berserk state for a short time, unless there's a tremendous force to suppress him. Die, everyone must die." Li Wuji's cultivation level continuously soared, directly breaking through from the early integration stage to the perfection stage, just a short step away from the Mahayana stage. Right then, his eyes shot out a terrifying blood-red light as he let out a ferocious roar. Boom! His entire body erupted with a heaven-shaking, terrifying aura, as violent waves of energy swirled madly in all directions. Many cultivators were forced to back up again and again, their faces etched with pure terror. The Shu family's old ancestor's expression changed as he turned to ask Ye Zuxian, "This," he thought to himself. "To think that the other party is only a cultivator at the early stage of the fusion realm, yet he actually makes me feel afraid, as if the one standing before me isn't a human, but a being that exists only to kill." Standing right behind the male lead, Hong Tianye felt unbelievable. He had never seen such a strange state of enhancement. He thought to himself, what did that shameless bastard feed him? How did he suddenly become like this? Li Wuji's angry shout echoed. Li Wuji's face was mad. He instinctively grabbed his long saber and directly used the basic Daoyo technique of the Chaos Heavenly Dao art. Instantly, boundless saber chi pierced straight into the sky, the domineering power unstoppable, carrying an aura as if it wanted to shatter even the Heavenly Dao. The terrified cultivators exclaimed, "Heavens, how can someone with the cultivation of the fusion realm unleash power to this extent? Even if I, whose cultivation is one level higher than his, use all my strength, I wouldn't be able to gain the upper hand." Ye Junlin nodded in satisfaction. "Not bad. Activating the bloodline, it's truly like a tiger growing wings." Suddenly, a strong wind rushed towards his face. He saw Li Wuji with blood-red eyes. Li Wuji, gripping his long saber tightly, aimed straight for the top of Ye Junlin's head and slashed down with a fatal blow. Keng! A metallic sound echoed throughout the heavens, transparent ripples spreading out endlessly, causing the surrounding buildings to crack. Ye Junlin smiled slightly, saying coldly, "Good. Let me test the strength of my new disciple." The long saber, swung with all of Li Wuji's strength, was flicked away by Ye Junlin with just one finger. Gao! Li Wuji retreated several zang, roaring angrily, and immediately gathered his saber momentum, preparing to attack again. Boom! From the void a huge, brightly lit hand appeared, its texture as clear as a painting, covered in divine light, like the Five Fingers Mountain pressing down on Sun Wukong, directly suppressing the raging Li Wuji to the ground. The ground shook, dust billowed, and Li Wuji roared wildly, struggling desperately to escape the giant hand. But his strength was insignificant before Ye Junlin. The male lead's eyes looked at Li Wuji. Then he said, thinking, "Not bad, not bad. You have just reached the cultivation base of the fit environment, but you can block my Wuzhishan attack. Do not underestimate the strength of this new disciple." Next, Ye Junlin smiled and said, "But it should be the end. I'm afraid my disciple's body can't stand it anymore." Ye Junlin looked serious, and his voice contained great magic power directly into the opponent's ear. "Li Wuji, I order you to wake up immediately." Ugh. Li Wuji hesitated. The expression on his face began to change crazily. The strong, murderous spirit around his body gradually dissipated, and the red light in his eyes slowly faded away, revealing his confusion. Li Wuji gasped for breath and spat out murderous aura. His face was sweaty and panicked in his heart. Li Wuji vaguely remembered that he was like crazy. The knife cut at the silver-haired youth in front of him, and he asked, "Master, what did I just do?" At that moment, he seemed to have lost himself, and his mind was full of killing thoughts, even ignoring the confrontation with the whole world. Ye Junlin patted Li Wuji on the shoulder to comfort him, then said calmly, "It's okay, I don't blame you. Carefully check your body for any differences from before." Hearing this, Li Wuji hurriedly checked his body and replied, "Yes, master." After a while, Li Wuji looked at the palm of his left hand and showed a look of joy, and shouted, "My realm has broken through to the perfect fit, but that's not all. The hidden dangers in my body, including the damaged foundation, have been resolved, and even become much stronger, as if reborn again." Li Wuji was extremely excited, and understood that it was all thanks to his respect, then immediately knelt down and thanked him. "Thank you, master, disciple." Ye Junlin nodded slightly, and transmitted secretly, "Li Wuji, you have the blood of a demon. Once activated, this blood will bring unimaginable power, but it cannot be maintained for long. You must know how to restrain yourself and be moderate." Li Wuji trembled, recalling his crazy state just now. His face revealed understanding, and immediately replied, "This disciple remembers the master's teachings." Witnessing this scene, the cultivators present showed clear admiration. They all knew that Dao Ma Li Wuji had just received a great opportunity bestowed by Ye Junlin. Old Ancestor Shu laughed warmly, and enthusiastically stepped forward to curry favor. "Ha ha! Congratulations to Ye Suxian for taking in a good disciple. Today is a day of great joy. Why not come inside and drink a few cups?" Ye Junlin glanced at him indifferently and said, "Isn't that turning the guest into the host? After all, this banquet is organized by the Zhue family, mainly to celebrate your breakthrough." Old Ancestor Shu smiled shamelessly, his eyes full of goodwill looking at Li Wuji, and said affectionately, "It doesn't matter. The more happy events, the better. Little friend Lai, what do you think?" Looking at the Shu family ancestor's attitude, Everyone couldn't help but reveal a strange expression. Who would have thought this guy would personally kill 2 of his descendants just moments ago? Seems like this white-haired demon will cause even more trouble in the eastern region. Little Hong stood with his arms crossed, gazing at Ye Junlin and pondering. Indeed, the strong are always respected in this world. He can make the Zhu family ancestor kill his own family and still be thanked. I must become stronger, or else I'll always be under his thumb. Ye Junlin turned to leave, saying, "All right, everything's been taken care of. No point in staying any longer. Zhu family, continue with your celebration. Remember to prepare a funeral. Let's go." Li Wuji chuckled coldly a few times, too lazy to pay attention to this old geezer. He hated the Shui family to the core, especially since they had intervened and stopped him from killing Shui Tianyi. Ye Junlin added, "Little Hong, take your junior sister with you. We're preparing to set off." Little Hong immediately dragged Bai Shaoxi, who was still blissfully dozing, and replied, "Yes, master." The surrounding guests respectfully cupped their hands in salute, seeing Ye Shuxian off. Boom! Receiving the summons, the Kunpeng flew out from a distant mountain range, carrying Ye Junlin and the others straight into the sky, soaring through the universe. The Shu family ancestor gave a radiant smile. "Ye Zuxian, please visit again when you have time. The Shu family's doors are always open to welcome you." Watching the group leave, the smile on the Zhu family ancestor's face gradually disappeared. Thinking of the events that had transpired today, his complexion turned ashen, and his originally joyous mood was completely ruined. A voice filled with excitement came from afar. Family head, we finally found the young master's arm." A guard, holding up a severed arm with both hands, excitedly ran over. The others tried to suppress their laughter, their faces flushed. The guard was stunned, feeling the atmosphere was a bit strange. "Where's the family head?" The Zhu family ancestor, his face turning purple with anger, roared. "Throw that bastard's arm into the backyard for the dogs to eat." The guard trembled, not understanding why the ancestor was so angry, and replied, "Understood." The guests chuckled when they saw this, but no one dared to laugh out loud. A Zhu family elder cautiously asked, "Ancestor, what about the banquet?" The Zhu family ancestor almost lost control, furiously yelling, "Disbanded immediately, get out of here." The guests were covered in cold sweat, hurriedly fleeing the Zhu family as if escaping. This extravagant and grand banquet ultimately ended in a hasty and chaotic manner. Damn it. The events of today will quickly spread through the mouths of cultivators, causing a major shock in many eastern region provinces. In the clear blue sky, clouds drifted, and the gigantic Kunpeng beast was traversing the void, carrying Ye Junlin and the others. Li Wuji stood on the Kunpeng's back, feeling like everything that had happened today was a dream, thinking to himself, "So this is what it feels like to ride on an ancient behemoth. It feels like I'm dreaming." Behind him was Ye Junlin, lounging in a sunbathing chair, and on the ground was Bai Shaoxi playing. Li Wuji's eyes suddenly landed on a fiery red figure, which was Hong Tianye. Li Wuji secretly sighed. A person with delicate features, graceful eyebrows, and phoenix eyes, so beautiful that she doesn't seem like a mortal, with skin as white as snow, pure and smooth. Just standing there, she exudes a captivating aura. Li Wuji sighed inwardly. Hong Shanzi is indeed as beautiful as the rumors say, enchanting. Currently, outside of the Tiangshuan sect, the most talked about person besides Ye Junlin is Hong Tianye's disciple. Rumor has it that she suffers from a loathing of men, and doesn't bother being polite to any unfamiliar man who tries to strike up a conversation. Some also say that she's too picky, and only an unparalleled and unique man is worthy of her. After hesitating for a moment, Li Wuji made up his mind to greet her. After all, they were fellow disciples, and would see each other often in the future, so they couldn't be cold to each other. Li Wuji cleared his throat a few times, put on a smile, walked over, and said, "Senior Sister Hong is not only gifted but also has unparalleled beauty. In the future, on the path of cultivation, please give junior brother some guidance." Hong Tianye indifferently glanced at him. Ever since witnessing Ye Junlin kill the Zhuyang Zuxian, little Hong's mood had been off, because the distance between him and his master had grown even wider. Now Ye Junlin had even taken in another junior brother with a special physique, causing a vague sense of crisis to rise in little Hong's heart. HMPH. Hong Tianye snorted coldly, waved his sleeve, turned his head, and left, leaving Li Wuji standing there. The corners of Li Wuji's mouth twitched. Even though he had prepared himself mentally, he didn't expect her to be so arrogant, thinking to himself, "Damn it, what did I say wrong? Praising you for being beautiful isn't good enough? Women are as hard to figure out as finding a needle in the ocean." Suddenly, a cute, childish voice rang out. "Hello, new junior brother." Li Wuji turned his head to look down, and found a tiny creature with a mouse head and lowly body smiling and greeting him. Li Wuji knew the identity of this creature, and respectfully cupped his hands in salute. "Greetings, Senior Sister Bai." Being called Senior Sister made Bai Shaoxi very happy, her furry mouse face revealing a shy expression, and her two small hands intertwined awkwardly as she said, You don't need to be so polite with me," Li Wuji said in a deep voice. "Senior Sister Bai, etiquette is still necessary." Bai Shaoxi nodded seriously, then continued. "Well, actually, Chi-Chi is here to remind you that Master's eldest disciple is actually a man. You must call him Senior Brother Hong, otherwise he'll be angry." Hearing these words, Li Wuji felt like he had been struck by lightning, feeling numb inside and out, his expression full of shock, his mouth wide open and unable to close as he blurted out, "What?" If it hadn't been Bai Shaoxi herself who said it, he would have drawn his sword and chopped, thinking he had been seriously insulted. The famous Hong Shangxianzi, it turns out, is a man. Is this news reliable? Li Wuji turned back and cupped his hands, forcing a smile. So that's how it is. No wonder he's so cold to the men who try to get close to him. So he's actually a man, so those words I just said were bootlicking the wrong person. After clarifying the truth, Li Wuji had to accept one thing. Hong Tianye was actually a man. Bai Xiaoxi raised a finger and said with a smile, "It's better to know this later. This is a taboo. Don't provoke senior brother Hong." Li Wuji said with a smile. As expected, Master is surrounded by extraordinary people, a handsome man and a lovely Chi-Chi senior sister. Bai Xiaoxi sighed and replied, "No way, actually. Chi-Chi wants to become like the other disciples, but I don't know why I'm stuck in a half-human, half-mouse state, and that's why I occasionally cause trouble for Master." Li Wuji scratched his head and said with a smile, "So senior sister isn't intentionally maintaining this appearance. I think you look quite cute and adorable." The young man then took out a book and said with a smile, "Ah, that's right. Speaking of transformation methods, I once received a secret manual on disguise techniques when I was traveling in the eastern region. Maybe it can help you fully restore your human form. If you don't mind, please accept it." Bai Xiaoxi happily took it and replied, "That's really great. If I succeed, Chi-Chi will never cause trouble for Master again." Bai Xiaoxi held the secret manual and ran to Ye Junlin, happily saying, "Master, Chi-Chi may be able to completely transform into human form and no longer cause trouble for Master." Ye Junlin picked his nose and looked over, replying, "Oh, is there such a good thing? But Master will also miss your furry and cute mouse head." Bai Xiaoxi said with a smile, "Don't worry, Master. From now on, I can change my mouse head at will. Little Xi will become anything Master wants." "Oh, Master, are we going back to the sect now?" Ye Junlin raised a hand excitedly and replied, "Return to the family? Of course not. My mount is so beautiful I have to show it off everywhere. Akun, go!" As the Kunpeng flew for several months, news of the events at the Shu family's banquet spread throughout the eastern region, shocking many cultivators who heard it. Not only that, when the Zhuyang honored one of the Yuhua sect was going through his tribulation, he intentionally sought out Ye Junlin, but was turned into gold on the spot. As for the tribulation passing cultivation that the male protagonist revealed, many people began to boldly speculate that it was just the tip of the iceberg. Scene changed to Kengzhu, a place where spiritual energy is abundant and resources are plentiful. In the great Zhao dynasty, Qingbanshi is facing an unprecedented crisis. The drums of war resound like thunder, and the roars of killing shake the heavens and the earth. 10,000 soldiers clad in metal armor, riding on strange beasts that look like cheetahs, raising large sabers in their hands, charged like a meteor shower. In an instant, murderous aura filled the air. This wasn't an ordinary mortal army, but the famous Hubao Kai of the great Zhao dynasty. Each soldier among them had a gold core stage cultivation, belonging to the most elite of the elite. Swoosh, 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 the cheetahs they rode sped like lightning. When in formation, they could connect their magic power to each other, creating terrifying saber energies with enhanced resonance effect. The Hubao Kai were so strictly trained that even nascent soul cultivators had to avoid them, fearing that once they were in battle, they would not be able to escape with their lives. Currently, their opponents were not the armies of other dynasties, but a group of strangely shaped creatures, bearing heavy yin energy, and someone exclaimed, "These are devils!" A group of ugly devils with various skin colors, roaring and charging straight at the Hubao Kai, shouting, "Kill! Kill all these humans!" The fierce battle began, and after only a short time, more than half of the 10,000 Hubao Kai had been lost. Meanwhile, the devils, even when seriously injured, could rely on the black mist spreading behind them to gradually recover. This battle caused blood to flow like rivers, and corpses to pile up like mountains. A heavily wounded soldier, raising his long blade, slashed at the demonic creatures, roaring, "Hold the Boulder City! Kill!" His comrades, with bloodshot eyes, charged forward fearlessly. In their minds, there was only one thought: protect Boulder City behind them. Boulder City was gripped by fear. Women hugged their children, weeping, while the young men were filled with indignation. High above, tens of thousands of meters in the sky, a Kunpeng happened to fly over this land. Li Wuji flew over and respectfully reported, "Master, there are demons attacking the city below." A loud shout echoed, "Eat you!" Ye Junlin picked up a cannon piece on the chessboard and slammed it down on his opponent's general. Hong Tianye, sitting opposite him, twitched uncontrollably. Never in his life had he seen someone so shameless. Who ever heard of a cannon crossing the river and ignoring all obstacles to take the general in one move? Lately, besides cultivating, Hong Tianye had to entertain Ye Junlin with all sorts of weird games. Like this chess game, he thought he could crush his opponent with his superior skills, but he never expected this guy to break the rules repeatedly and shamelessly capture his general. Hong Tianye cursed inwardly. "This is so shameless, what's the point of playing?" Ye Junlin put down the chess piece, crossed his arms and sighed. "Little Hong, you're really too weak. Your teacher only used less than 10% of his power, and you're already wiped out." Hong Tianye suppressed his anger and forced a smile. "Master, a cannon needs a platform to move, and the distance is limited. Even a 3-year-old knows that." Ye Junlin glared and said sternly, "Mine is a mortar, okay?" Little Hong cursed inwardly. "Mortar my ass. Wait, what's a mortar?" Ye Junlin raised an eyebrow, his voice full of warning. "Judging by your expression, you're clearly not convinced. Are you questioning your teacher's chess skills?" Hong Tianye was so scared that he quickly lowered his head. Disciple wouldn't dare. Although he had recently broken through to the Great Ascension stage, and considered himself invincible in this realm, he knew he was still too weak before this man. Bai Xiaoxi had already transformed into a rather pretty and adorable little girl, bros. Ye Junlin turned to Xiaoxi, who was standing behind him with an innocent look, and asked, "Xiaoxi, what do you think of your teacher's chess skills?" Bai Xiaoxi was seriously massaging Ye Junlin's shoulders. Seeing this scene, without thinking, she nodded immediately, chirping that her master was the most awesome person ever. Hong Tianye saw this scene and cursed inwardly. "That damn rat is so good at flattering." Ye Junlin revealed a satisfied expression. "Ah, Xiaoxi understands my level the best." Then, He turned his gaze to the middle-aged man with a stubbly beard and asked, "Little Li, what were you saying just now?" Li Wuji replied. This disciple was saying that not far ahead, a group of demons are attacking a human city. The situation is very critical. Ye Junlin searched his memory and immediately recalled the relevant information, asking curiously, "Demons?" The demons are one of the major races of the dark races, originating from an ancient forbidden area in the eastern region called the Underworld Abyss, the gathering place of the ancestors of countless dark races. Legend has it that in ancient times, the creatures of the Underworld Abyss once attempted to invade the outside world, forcing human cultivators to join forces to deal with them, triggering a large-scale war. Afterwards, the Underworld Abyss was defeated and forced to retreat, maintaining a state of non-interference ever since. Unexpectedly, a demon army has now appeared, attacking a human city. Could the balance that has been maintained for tens of thousands of years be broken? Ye Junlin ordered. In that case, let's go take a look. Akun, go help out. That demon, covered in blue flames, killed a general of the Great Zihao with a single move. The soldiers at the city gate, watching from afar, were terrified. They muttered in horror, "He killed our general with one blow. We really can't win." Beneath the ground, smoke and dust filled the air, and the sounds of battle cries shook the heavens. The battlefield was filled with devastation. The demon leader rode a white bone horse engulfed in blue flames, wielding an ancient spear covered in runes, his aura powerful and oppressive. He sneered, "Haha, stop with your futile resistance. Occupying this city is just the beginning. Your other fortresses will also be attacked by my demons, and your entire dynasty will soon collapse." Suddenly, a surge of spear energy slashed through, sending the heads of several demons flying into the air. The general, riding a golden tiger, roared, wielding his golden spear as he charged forward on his beast. "Shut up! You will never achieve your goals." With his nascent soul cultivation and the power amplification from the battlefield, his strength was no weaker than the favored disciples of the major sects, and he charged straight towards the demon leader on the hill. As the devil leader laughed in anger, focusing all his power into his long spear, his mighty aura shattered the sky as he aimed straight at Wang Difa, wanting to pin him to the city wall, saying, "Very well, this general will grant you your wish." Suddenly, a thunderous boom echoed from above, and a terrifying, kingly pressure shook the entire battlefield, petrifying all the soldiers and demonic creatures, rendering them unable to move. Everyone fearfully looked up at the sky, where a colossal figure pierced through the clouds, leaving everyone utterly horrified. The devil leader exclaimed in a lost voice, What is that?" At this moment, an unbelievable suction force erupted from the Kunpeng's mouth. All the demonic creatures on the battlefield were horrified to realize they couldn't resist, being sucked toward the Kunpeng's gigantic, abyss-like mouth. The devil leader tried to escape but couldn't, shouting, "No!" A series of panicked screams echoed, and in just a moment, all the demonic creatures were swallowed whole by the Kunpeng. It waved its body triumphantly, then casually let out a sky-shattering burp. The soldiers of Banshee City were so astonished their mouths hung open, nearly unable to believe their eyes. Wang Difa forgot the pain on his body, muttering, Is this a divine beast descended from the heavens to protect our great Zhu?" Rumble, rumble, rumble. The Kunpeng rode on a surge of vast energy and flew over. The defending soldiers immediately dropped their weapons and kneeled to worship in unison. The resounding shouts echoed like mountains collapsing and seas roaring, thanking the divine beast for protecting the people of Great Zihu. Wang Difa thought to himself, "Now that the devils are invading, it appeared at just this moment. Could this be the auspicious beast of my great Zhu?" While Wang Difa was still speculating about the Kunpeng's origins, a clear voice came from its body. "Someone come up here and explain the situation." Instantly, the boiling cheers suddenly subsided. The defending soldiers looked at each other in confusion, their eyes filled with astonishment. Wang Difa startled, but immediately reacted, realizing that this was a human race great expert who happened to pass by and lend a hand. He muttered, "So this divine beast has an owner." Ye Junlin, holding a glass of water, spoke up. "Xuan Tian sect, Ye Junlin, among you, who is in command here?" Wang Difa and the soldiers immediately knelt down and replied, "I am Wang Difa, commander of the cavalry. It is an honor to meet you, immortals." In Wang Difa's mind, he thought, Ye Junlin, so he's the one who's become famous recently. It said he just crushed the faces of the top sects in the eastern region. I didn't expect him to take action to protect Great Zhu like this. Ye Junlin, along with Li Wuji and Hong Tianye, flew down. Ye Junlin asked, "Answer me, which dynasty does this place belong to? Why is this noble army attacking you?" Wang Difa's gaze immediately became serious. He knew that the one sitting there must be the highest ranking of the four. This aura, this demeanor, he's definitely a big shot. Wang Difa hurriedly replied, "Reporting to you, senior, this place is the territory of the Great Xiao dynasty. This humble one doesn't know why the devils are attacking Great Xiao. But according to news from a dead devil general, Great Zihu will soon be completely attacked by the devils." Hearing this, Ye Junlin frowned and said, "If so, then it will definitely be a great war. The creatures from the underworld, acting recklessly and attacking the nations of the human race like this, are they not afraid of being counterattacked by all the human cultivators? After all, the devils are a major clan in the underworld. If they dare to do something so blatant, perhaps other dark races are also brewing similar intentions." Liv Wuji pondered. "The devils like dark and humid environments. What benefits do they get from occupying Great Zhu?" Hong Tianye said indifferently, "Why think so much? Just wipe them out when they come." Hearing this, a glimmer of hope unconsciously rose in Wang Difa's heart. Looking towards the red-clothed figure like a fairy, he cupped his hands and tentatively asked, "Immortal, are you planning to help Great Zhu overcome this tribulation?" This humble one, on behalf of the people of Great Zhu, thanks you for your kindness. HMPH, Hong Tianye coldly snorted, glancing away, looking rather annoyed. Standing beside him, Li Wuji sweated, thinking, oh crap, senior brother Hong is being mistaken for a woman again. Luckily master is here, or else we'd be screwed. Ye Junlin stroked his chin, vaguely feeling that there was something hidden behind this. At this moment, the familiar voice of the system rang in his head. Ding! Congratulations to the host for activating the mission. Defeat the Devil Legion invading the Great Zhu dynasty. Complete it, and you will receive a high-value reward. In his heart he decided, alright, then I'll just temporarily make this place my foothold, and see if I can find any clues from the devils. Ye Junlin coughed softly, straightened his back, and said in a deep voice, foreign races are causing chaos, killing the innocent. I am a human race great expert. How can I stand idly by? Pass the message down. Say that I will take action. Wang Defa had initially felt hopeless, but these words made his eyes light up, and he excitedly knelt on one knee, cupping his fist and saying, Senior, Great Zhuao will forever remember your great kindness. He felt that the situation had turned around dramatically. Even a supreme-level divine beast was a mount. Just how powerful was its master? With this person taking action, the world will surely be at peace. Li Wuji praised his master inwardly. In fact, he really wanted to stay and help Great Zhao, because he was originally a cultivator born in the eastern region, and had long hated the invasion of the underworld creatures. Hong Tianye pouted, thinking he's such a busybody. Then the main character spoke up. Let's go, take me to meet your emperor, Wang Defa hurriedly replied. Yes, rumble rumble rumble. The Kunpeng flew over Banshi City, and below, the people kneeled down in unison, chanting words of gratitude to the divine beast for protecting them. About 1,000 miles away from the Great Zhu Imperial City, there were stationed 600,000 of Great Zhu's most elite soldiers. Under the ground, rows and rows of bronze war golems stood closely packed. On the back of each was an armored warrior radiating silver light, tightly gripping a cold, sharp, long spear. Currently, the Great Zhu army had deployed their troops and set up their formation, ready to welcome the Devil Legion that was about to arrive. Inside the military tent, in front of a map densely marked with red dots, several Great Xiao generals wearing heavy armor were discussing strategies. Just now, several devil